burgers, and tantalizing appetizers that'll keep your hunger in check as you cheer for your team. Come for the food and football, and stay for the teal-colored Jell-O shots, your destination for a mouth-watering barbecue and an unforgettable game day. ABBQ, meet and drink with us.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by General RV Center. Major injury news today in the NFL. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson will have season-ending surgery for a broken bone in his shoulder. Watson today with reaction to the news.
It's tough to try to wrap everything around my head right now. Just like everyone else coming in Monday, I thought, just banged up a little bit and we get ready for Pittsburgh. But yesterday was a different story. It could have been any one of those hits.
Deshaun Watson today with reaction to his season-ending injury. That is the major story today in the NFL. The Browns will start rookie quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson on Sunday against the Steelers. It's 70 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Yeah, I had a hard day and it's a long way back to my home. Turn the radio on, I'm hearing my friend Lizzie pretend that their voice counts for nothing amounts to anything until I hear it from you.
Frank, Hayes, Lauren, and RJ, The Frangie Show starts now on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in, guys, along for the ride on this Wednesday installment, a dreary Wednesday here. We're live at Island Wing Company, the South Side location, the original. Good to be here. We do want to thank our friends from AC Designs, the best company around for heating and cooling. They do a terrific job. They are family-owned, and you can trust them with your comfort. Thanks to our friends at AC Design Company. Frank, Frangie, Hayes, Carline, Lauren Brooks on location. R.J. Saunders back at World Headquarters. I'll get to Hayes and Lauren in a minute. R.J., I got a very important question for you, though, on a dreary Wednesday. How you doing, buddy? You all right?
Yeah, man. How are you guys?
Would you explain to me why we have an in-season tournament? Would you walk me through the process and the reason, the rationale, please? I need this. I count on you. You are the expert on this.
If I could tell you, Frank, to be honest, if I had a great reason, I would tell you. I don't know. I have honestly no clue as to why we have an in-season tournament. And if we are, why not up the stakes a little bit? The stakes, I don't know being what, but $500,000 to the winning team,
Yeah. So as I understand this, the games, the group play games count in the regular season. Is that right?
Yeah.
They count the group play count in the 82 game regular season, right?
Yes.
But the knockout rounds do or don't? They don't.
I believe the knockout rounds do.
Oh, they count. So everything counts.
Yeah, everything is going to count.
So it's all part of your 82 games.
Right.
Hayes, explain this to me, please. Hayes,
everything counts in large amounts.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
I'm trying to follow.
I asked. It's funny. So Baloo and I taped Death, Taxes, and Duval before I came over here. And RJ was kind enough to get it started for us because neither one of us know how to work the equipment.
Right.
And
it's a button.
I can't do it.
By the way,
can't do it.
By the way,
been shown and can't do it.
By the way, I feel you.
Yeah.
Okay. I respect you and I feel you. Please continue.
And so RJ was kind enough to get us started. And so while we were talking before
he was pushing the button.
Yeah, while he was pushing the button, I asked him, and he kind of RJ, you seem like you're not a big fan of this, right?
I'm not the hugest of fans. I mean, they asked Steph Curry during a, post game. He said it's very straightforward. It's group play. Whoever gets the best record out of group play, the Final Four, then play, a knockout game. You get the final two. I guess they play in Vegas, and then you have a winner. But to me, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, unless if you wanted to up the ante or something like that, to where Frank wasn't in baseball, the winner of the All-Star game, like that division got.
Right.
Like
point,
home
field.
Your home field
right.
advantage. I mean, the NBA, it doesn't, I don't know if there's like any sort of motivation, but I think they're trying to figure out a way to make, the basketball during the season more exciting. But for me, as a guy who's watched basketball for the majority of my life, this doesn't excite me one bit.
What are we doing, right? So anyway, all right, that you gave me the answer. That's all I needed to know. You don't like it either. Okay, so there's that.
Would you like a college football tournament?
No,
at
the end of the no. Okay. You know what I want in the middle of the season? The season. Can I have the season?
Isn't it such an indictment though on the regular season? And I mean, again, the NBA I think is in a great place from an outsider's perspective. When the playoffs last year, I thought were riveting. Mm-hmm. So it's worth the wait, but I think you have to be a diehard to get really wrapped up in the regular season. And I understand they're trying to create a spark and things like it, but it seems convoluted, and it almost seems like the first way that golf did the FedEx Cup, where you could win the final tournament but not necessarily win the FedEx Cup, so you're sitting there on the final day, on the final few holes, and it's like, well, he's leading by 3, but he's going to finish 6th in the FedEx Cup. But this guy who's in 8th needs to get to 6th place to win the FedEx Cup. And they were like, this is so convoluted. We need to just create a system, even if it's an imperfect system, to just have the final event be for all the marbles. And as soon as you start, whoever wins this event is going to win the championship and win the FedEx Cup. And So I understand. I like the idea of trying to do something new to spark your regular season. But this one seems too early. It seems like the season just started. So I don't get – to me it would be something you might do after the All-Star break to kind of, fill that void of it. I mean, to me it's like if you're a diehard, you have your diehards because they've been dying for the NBA season to start for months. And I don't think you're going to get your casual fan in doing this. So I almost think if you're going to do it, maybe do it post All-Star break and do it as sort of the first appetizer to the, the final playoff push. Because, again, there's no real race for 8th. Yeah. No one cares. Yeah. You're normally, I know Miami did it last year, and they were the exception. But normally the 8th seed is headed towards sweep or something close to it and going home. So I don't think you get wrapped up in who's going to be those last guys in the tournament or in the postseason like you do in baseball, certainly in football, and and I can't speak to hockey, but I don't know. I like the idea of trying to spark something, but I think they've got to do some serious tweaking to this.
Yeah, we'll see what winds up happening. I'll tell you this part. The NBA got my attention. I shouldn't say this, A, because of this, and B, because of Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Is he going straight to MMA? That looked like a rear naked, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is that what that was?
I suppose so. I mean, he's always been known as a bully on the court.
17th ejection.
I mean, that move is illegal in pro wrestling.
Goodness gracious. So, all right, a lot of things to talk about today. We'll talk some Jaguar football. Trevor Lawrence met with the media today, as did Doug Peterson. You'll hear some of those comments coming up in just a bit. I got a thought about Trevor. I'll get to that coming up. That's how I'll start the program. I want to talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, a little bit about Georgia, and a thought about Florida State as it moves forward. I got a lot of thoughts about that. So some Bulldog talk, a little bit of Seminole talk today. How about Deshaun Watson? I still don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are very good. But, of course, this happened right before they play them.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that the kind of season it's been for them?
Yeah, it's amazing how little they're getting, in that investment. And, again, It was probably the worst contract we've seen because it was fully guaranteed, and no other contract has been since, and there's been a lot of big ones signed. So it just speaks to it was a bad idea at the time, and, I think he's played a couple good games, but of the few games he's played, he's been disappointing. And now you're dealing with a shoulder surgery. So who knows what Cleveland's ever going to get out of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little bit about all that coming up in just a bit. Got a lot to do on a Wednesday. Glad you're with us. The State Farm College Football Report is later on today. Shane Matthews, Tom Block, and Joe Zagacki check in. Shane is we're trying to keep him from jumping off a bridge somewhere. He's not very happy with his team. Tom Block's team's doing just fine, and I thought the Canes played well given everything last week, and I'll see Joe Zagacki. I talked to Joe earlier. I'll see him for a little bit on Saturday, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. So we got a lot of fun stuff to do. A little college basketball. We was able to watch the Gators. Florida and FSU get together. FSU looks more like old FSU now, so after a couple tough years, certainly a bad year last year. Did you realize FSU had the worst year in their history last year.
Yeah.
And
I didn't realize history, but I knew it was.
Worst year in their history.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
hard to believe.
but they'll bounce back, and my guess is actually going to be pretty good. They got some transfers. They're pretty athletic this year. So some college basketball talk. Got a lot of things to get to the program. I do want to talk about the Deshaun Watson Brown thing, but I want to start with Trevor Lawrence. That's how we'll kick off the program. We're glad you're with us on a Wednesday. Brought to you by AC Designs. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
It's fun to play.
Yes.
It's even more fun to win.
Yes!
It's 1010XL's weekly pick'em contest, brought to you by J. David Tax Law and MyBookie. You could win a barbecue feast from ABBQ. You pick 'em at 1010XL.com. Now, the Florida Gator Report on 1010XL, brought to you by Darley's Plumbing.
Gators sit at 5-5 on the season and sit fourth in the SEC East as they now prepare for number 11 ranked Missouri. Coach Billy Napier spoke on this matchup.
Mizzou's got a good football team. They play complementary football. Eli's done a nice job there. They've gotten incrementally better. They're getting good quarterback play. They've got some significant matchup players like most teams in our league do.
I'm Frank Frangie, and I'm so impressed with Darley's Plumbing and the work they're doing at our new Walk-Off Charities field. The Darley's team has been so easy to work with on this great project. I heard good reviews about them for years, and they have absolutely proved it to me. I learned Darley's is a company I can trust for my plumbing needs, and you can too.
Thanks for those kind words, Frank. At Darley's Plumbing, we don't just do residential house calls. We're your first draft pick for commercial business plumbing too. Darley's Plumbing, where quality counts.
The deal of the year is here at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here, and right now you can save thousands off original MSRP on pre-owned 2023 models, like a Toyota Corolla LE starting at just $18,881. A 2023 Toyota Camry LE or RAV4 LE as low as $23,881. You can even get a 2023 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road 4x4 as low as $38,881. Shop ArlingtonToyota.com and save thousands today.
I had a question about my insurance the other day, so I called my new State Farm agent. And would you believe I talked to the same person who remembered my name? They said that was called service. And then they asked if my dog Max was over his cold. They called that service too. And then they helped me find ways to save on my home and auto coverage. I asked State Farm what they called that. They said service.
Call State Farm agent Margie Williams in Jacksonville at 296-2500.
This holiday season, let Bono's Catering do the cooking. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for almost 75 years. Make your holidays easier and more delicious with Bono's smoked turkeys and country hams. Plus, Bono's has limited time holiday sides available. Bono's will prepare everything so you can relax and enjoy the holidays with family and friends. Contact Bono's Catering today at 904-332-RIBS. That's 332-7427. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Dr. Kevin Murphy, spotlighting the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Ismail Uriostegui, football, soccer, and track and field athlete at Inglewood High. Ismail won the Jerry Battle Award and the Norma Lehman Award.
In this moment, Ice 9 Kills, Kiss of Death Tour. Special guests, Avatar and New Year's Day. Friday, November 17th, Daly's Place. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. In this moment, Ice 9 Kills. Live in concert.
John, I'm so glad I called Clearwater to get my sprinklers, yard drainage, and seamless gutters in tip-top shape.
Thanks, Frank. It's great to see you so relaxed here at the house, away from the microphone.
Yeah, John, just hanging.
All right, well, let me go ahead and turn the sprinklers on and show you how everything works.
Wow, look at that coverage. How good is that?
All right, Frank, let's go.
Clearwater Irrigation
and drainage to
ClearwaterJacks.com.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their physicians. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
DivorceMenOnly.com. This is Kenny Lay of Kenny Lay & Associates. Our firm specializes in representing men in family law. That's all we do. That's our only focus. We can help with all of your family law needs, such as divorce, custody, alimony, and child support. For over a decade, we have helped thousands of men with these types of issues. We even have an appellate division ready to challenge a judge's ruling. If you need a family law attorney, go to DivorceMenOnly.com. DivorceMenOnly.com. Offices, Jacksonville.
Look, Thanksgiving is almost here. It's time to get that home repair project you've been putting off done before the family comes over. From the honey-do list to bathroom remodeling, get First Coast Home Pros to do it for you. FirstCoastHomePros.com.
Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying. They can also signal a major problem or electrical emergency. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
8 Sparky. Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Discover the difference that local expertise makes at First Coast Lighting and Fans. Visit their showroom at the Avenues and browse high-quality products to match your desire for elegance, quality, and uniqueness at First Coast Lighting and Fans.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
We know what we're capable of, but we gotta figure out how to transfer all that and translate it to Sunday. And I got all the confidence. I'm not concerned about us not doing that, but we do need to do it. We need to play better offensively. We need to take over games. We need to not just rely on our defense to make the plays. We got to start taking over some of these games and putting teams away and all those things that we've talked about, from weeks prior, but continuing to be an emphasis.
It's an AC Designs Wednesday on the Frangie Show. Brought to you by AC Designs, voted best AC and heating company in Jacksonville.
Those are the comments of Trevor Lawrence today when he met with the media, his weekly media availability. Frank Frangie, Hayes Carlyon, Lauren Brooks, RJ Saunders with you. I'll get right to it. Huge game for Trevor on Sunday. I think a huge game. I think not that he needs motivation, because I think he's a self-motivated guy, and I think he's an even-keeled guy. But I got this gut. When he came, he didn't play well last week. He wasn't alone. When he said after the game, about the worst game of my career, he didn't beat around the bush. He owned all of it. I just get this sense that it's not, and I don't want to keep saying motivated because that would imply that he's not always motivated. I think he is. But I just think the doubting, the Richard Sherman, the fact that they lost, the fact that they weren't very happy with how they played as a group, I'll bet you he has a gigantic game. And I know it's not that easy. It's the NFL. You can't just say, okay, I'm going to have a big game. I know that. And I know he may not have Zay Jones. Obviously, that who knows where that situation's headed. But I'll bet you it's a big game for Trevor Lawrence. I'll bet you're going to look back on Sunday at about 4:20 and go, wow, that's the game we've been waiting for Trevor to have. I'll bet you. That's my guess.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I would be surprised if it's like gaudy in that regard. I mean, I think he'll play well.
Yeah.
And I certainly think he'll be one of the MVPs of the game. But I'm not expecting it to – I think it's going to be a gradual progression of them getting better. I don't think it's going to be some massive leap forward. And, again, I don't think they're going to be able to block the Titans. So,
well, that's the thing.
I mean, if you can't block them, then it's hard for the quarterback to have a spectacular day. Now, they can work around that, and I still think they can score 24, which is going to be, I think, more than enough to beat Tennessee. But, I think Doug said something today that I thought was interesting about his mobility has been bothered by the injury. So they're not able to roll him out as much. He's more of a target back there because they're not moving the pocket with him as much as maybe they would, particularly in how it affects their ability to really go after the explosive downfield throw. So, I think that's hurt as well. And, he still is wearing the brace. So, he's still somewhat limited. Now, it may be 92% of what he would normally be. But what if it's 77% of what he would normally be? Obviously, he's healthy enough to play. But, I do think that factors in as well. So, I still think with him, they're still in just grind these out. Just survive and advance. Like, beat the Titans, get your 24 points. It doesn't have to be 38. let's just manage the game. Let's utilize ETN. Let's utilize a screen game. Get the ball out quick so that, we don't have to worry about Jeffrey Simmons and Autry and Landry and Arden Key. And so I'd be surprised if he has a statistically phenomenal game. But I do think he'll be efficient, and I think he will play well. I don't think he's going to turn the ball over on Sunday.
I think they're going to be a little bit smarter with the game plan and make sure that Trevor gets time to throw the football. Whether that's, and I know Walker Little is going to start at left guard, but whether that's mixing up some of the play calling, whether that's starting off, handing the ball off to ETN, I'm not sure if they're going to roll him out. Whatever they have to do to get him comfortable, because obviously he wasn't comfortable, felt like, for pretty much every drive other than maybe one last week. I just don't think that he has enough time to throw the football, and everyone wants him to throw deep passes. He doesn't have time. He barely has time to get the ball to the crossing route, let alone throw a deep ball. So this is going to be another difficult test for the offensive line. But I think the play calling will be geared towards making sure Trevor gets the ball out quickly.
I think the opposite. I think that's what they've been doing. I think the horizontal game, and that's always going to be kind of who they are, to your point. But I said yesterday, I think I would try and get him going, and I'd try and find some verticality. I said that's what I would do. Doug today said that they've got to take more shots down the field. Now, I think you're right, Lauren. The main problem is it's hard to do that very often if you can't protect, because you have to protect longer, and I hear you, and I think that's obviously been the problem. But you can max protect up some vertical routes. You can run a two-man route, and everybody else stays in and blocks, and then take a shot down the field on that. Now, often those don't work because it's harder to get open in a two-man route. But I think sometimes you got to force the issue. I think that's what I thought yesterday they should. I said it on the program yesterday. That's what I thought they should do. And then I think Doug's comments supported that today when he said we got to take some more shots down the field. Either that or he's trying to plant the seed in the Titans' head that they're going to go down the field more. But I think you got to take some shots down the field. I think that's what they haven't done. And you're right. Lauren's point's right. If no one's staying in the block other than your five, and maybe you keep a back in pass pro because against the blitz, well then then you're horizontal and you get the ball out quick and there's some dink and dunk there. But if you max protect it up, you can get the ball down the field. I just have this hunch that he and they have had about enough of the questions on the offense, even though nobody debates the questions are legit because they haven't played very well offensively. I'm not saying that they're getting any unfair questions. I just get this feeling. And, Hayes, you're right. Titans-Jags games don't tend to be that. They don't tend to be 45-41 with a bunch of long balls, do they? That's not how they play their physical games, and I get it. Sometimes you just get a gut, though. You know what I mean? I just get this gut. And by the way, I don't necessarily think this one's going to be 45-41 either. I don't necessarily think there's going to be egregious numbers. I don't necessarily think Trevor's going for 380 with 4 touchdowns. But I do think the ball's going down the field more. And I'll bet you when the game's over, Trevor's had a pretty good game. That's just I just get this feeling about it. I don't even know why I do. I just think that everything you're hearing, everything you're reading, being around them, they've had about enough of the passing game isn't doing enough. That's my thing. It'll be fun to watch.
It will be fun to watch. And again, I think it'd be great to see. I just would be worried about Simmons.
Yeah.
And,
well, sure.
And Key, and they've got others. I think for this game, I think part of their problem is they've just seen really good defensive fronts. I mean, and they didn't construct their team necessarily to handle that. I mean, they've invested a lot in the offensive line, but the kind of players that they have are undersized. I mean, Fortner is, still trying to get physically up there. And, they have a guy in Walker Little that's, a tackle playing guard. And I think in looking at it from an offensive line standpoint, I'd be more comfortable with those guys run blocking and quick gaming it, letting Walker Little get a little bit more settled at left guard, and really trying to eliminate or limit Fortner and Sheriff's exposure to Simmons, because I just don't think they can block him for 2.5 seconds.
You think same thing. You think quick game too.
Yeah, I think Your offensive line has not proven to you that they can withstand good defensive interior or outside edge rushers. Like, poor Trevor is back there trying to get the ball out as fast as possible, and still people are getting right in his face.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. I listen. I don't ever want to just point to one unit and say this unit's the problem, because there's good and bad on all the units. But I've defended Trevor this whole time. I don't think he has very many clean pockets. I just don't see. Trevor Lawrence doesn't look like to me there's many clean pockets out there. I think, which is why I think the game plan this week is max protect. I just to your point too, Hayes. You might have to max protect. You might look up and say, listen, what we're doing is not working. The reason it's not working is because we can't block the interior, no matter who it is.
If the Jaguars block the Titans, they're going to score at will, because I think everything else favors the Jaguars heavily. So if they can block the Titans, then absolutely the gaudy game is out there. I just think that why even chance it? I just think that they'd be better off in this matchup. I think Trevor will play well. I think he can play well in the constraints of a conservative game plan to protect him. I think he'll probably throw 2 touchdowns, and I don't think he's throwing a pick. So, I mean, for the way his season has gone, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, that'd be a pretty good game.
Yeah, it certainly would. It's not like we're talking about a quarterback that's made some awful decisions, and that's what's cost the Jaguars games. I think he's played very well. He just is a guy, occasionally he fumbles and occasionally he'll throw an interception. But it's way more that whether it's the receivers not in the exact positions they need to be, or dropping the ball, or like we said, not having enough time to find an open guy. And like we talked about, I didn't see a lot of open guys against the 49ers.
Yeah. He's got to play better. There's no denying the fact that Trevor's got to play better. You got to take better care of the ball. There's the pass that hit Bigsby in the hands and was intercepted was careless. He was rolling to his left. It was a desperate line drive, high fastball that went off Bigsby's hand. That happened. The fumble when he gets hit, that's happening too many times. You gotta sense that pressure, and you got to put the ball away, and he knows that. But it's still, there's just no clean pockets for the guy, man. There's no so again, if it's me, if I'm Doug and Press, I say okay. The biggest problem we've had offensively is we haven't protected our franchise quarterback. We haven't protected our generational talent. And but if you don't protect him, the rest of it doesn't matter. Who's open, who's not open, what play calls, the rest of it doesn't matter. If you can't protect your guy, nothing else matters. So let's make sure we find a way this week to protect our guy. I just feel like that's going to be critical, regardless of what that winds up meaning. I think he's going to have a big game. And by the way, it's going to be nice. It's going to rain every day until then, I think, right?
Yeah, I think tomorrow it's nasty, and then Thursday through the weekend is magnificent.
Oh, I think Friday I thought rain. Is it?
Oh, really?
It's been back and forth. As of now, the last I saw was that Saturday will be nice and Sunday will be nice, but rain tomorrow and Friday.
Yeah. So we have a walk-off clinic.
Yeah, correct. I've been monitoring the weather for the walk-off clinic.
That means the sun's going to come out, because the sun always comes out on a walk-off clinic.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think someone might need to replace, whether it's Walker Little or Luke Fortner. Like, it's okay if they get to the second half and they're not protecting, and in goes Tyler Shatley and in goes Ezra Cleveland. Like, just because you want continuity on your offensive line, well, if the offensive line continuity isn't working for you, then it's okay to make changes.
I think they're pretty committed to Luke Fortner. I don't see anything happening there. Left guard, they still have to figure that part out. I think I would. Tony Baselli said this on the drill this week, and I agree with him. I wouldn't change now. It wouldn't look like you're panicking every time you get something figured out. But to your point, if it doesn't work, if the personnel grouping doesn't work again, and if it looks like you're going to grade poorly, and you do, to Hayes' point from yesterday, and you have Ezra Cleveland, I don't know enough about Ezra to say he should be starting and Walker shouldn't. I haven't watched him. I don't know enough of, I know he started for 2 years for Minnesota, but I also know they made him expendable. Now, they got a guy they like, but they made him expendable. So I don't know enough about him. But you're right. At some point, if that's your weak area, you can't be afraid to fix it with personnel. You can't always fix it with plan and help and chipping. Sometimes you have to fix it with personnel moves. So it'll be. It would not surprise me if that's one of the moves they make. We'll see. But I think a big game for Trevor Lawrence. Well, what's the mindset, in your opinion, of the Titans? Where are they? Where are they right now?
Finger pointing.
You think?
Yeah, I think they're cashing it in.
Yeah.
I think they like Vrabel. So, I mean,
I do too.
I don't think it's got anything to do with, a dislike of the head coach. But, I mean, they just don't have any talent. So I think the players on the roster that are talented, or they're trying to be pros about it. There's a lot of bad players on that roster that are starting, and it's really handicapping what they can be. I mean, that offensive line is a joke. Defensively, I think other than their defensive line, I think they're not very good in the back half at all. So, and they're 3-13 in their last 16. So, I think
that's telling.
An element of the Titans that was always so strong. Their identity was, it's going to be a street fight, and you're going to have your moments, but we're going to win the last 4 minutes of this street fight, and we're going to walk out of here with a 17-16 win.
Yeah.
And that's been their identity, and I think that's taken a serious blow. I think now in their own minds there's got to be self-doubt about whether they can win these games. When you've won 3 games in your last 16, can't be a lot of confidence in that locker room.
Yeah. So
and they put up 6 points on Sunday against the Bucs, which is much more who they are, I think, than the Jaguars putting up 3 points.
A week after C.J. Stroud threw for about 9 trillion yards on them.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing. They feel like they're
on Tampa.
Yeah, right. They're committed to Levis, and which means they're gonna go ahead and deal with the growing pains that you have with a young quarterback. I'm not saying they cashed in the season, but I do think when you commit to a young quarterback that isn't ready, he's not ready. Now that doesn't mean they probably should commit to him. You got some, but he's clear. We've seen enough of these rookie quarterbacks. We saw when Trevor was a rookie quarterback. When you commit to the guy in his first year, there's going to be some up and down, and I think there will be, so we'll see. I think Jags beat the Titans on Sunday. We'll take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about the Seminoles. I got a thought or two about Florida State football, big picture moving forward. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Follow the Florida Gators on 1010XL.
And scoots into the end zone. Touchdown, Gators.
The Gators go to Mizzou. Florida, Missouri kickoff at 7:30 on Jacksonville's home of Florida Gators football. 1010XL. Here's what's happening in Bulldog Country. The Georgia Bulldog Report. Brought to you by Travis Cummings and the Bailey Group.
The Bulldogs punched their ticket to the SEC title game on Saturday night with a 52-17 demolition of Ole Miss.
Plowing right through the Rebels defense. Georgia puts 500 on Ole Miss and will steamroll into Knoxville, looking very much the heavyweight out of the East.
Attention car buyers, are you in the market for a new vehicle? Are you noticing the markups on vehicles on dealers' lots? Well, come to Key Buick GMC, where we never have markups on our vehicles. Ask for Derek or Brian. In addition, Key Buick GMC is the only Buick GMC dealer with a lifetime powertrain warranty on all new Buicks and GMCs. Holidays are approaching, and we are your local service headquarters. That's Key Buick GMC. We are professional grade across the street from Tinseltown, Southside and Gate.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. From GFL, Green for Life.
This Day in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On November 15th, 2018, LeBron James passes Wilt Chamberlain for 5th on the NBA's career scoring list with 44 points for the Lakers.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Pross, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. Johns County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Dailies Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Do you have a septic tank at your home or business? You know the EPA recommends that your septic tank should be pumped out every 3 years, right? What about your drain field? Is it performing properly? Maybe it's time for a full septic system inspection. We're Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services, and we would love to help you with all of your septic needs. Give us a ring to get service scheduled ahead of the holidays. 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
When it comes to a new roof, you want the golden standard. Can't afford the cost of replacing your roof without financing? Don't worry, we have special financing with up to 30-year terms. As long as you're not in an active bankruptcy, current with your property taxes and mortgage, not in a reverse mortgage, no liens or judgments, and no foreclosure, we should be able to get you funded. No hard credit check required.
Golden Hammer Roofing and Gutters.
Golden Hammer.
The golden standard in roofing.
Brackish Vodka, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, is the smoothest local vodka you can find. Made right here in Jacksonville, Florida, 100% from corn, Brackish Vodka is the local gluten-free choice. Brackish Vodka, for those that live life slightly salty, a proud partner of the Jaguars. Get your slightly salty Brackish Vodka fix every happy hour, Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. at Palms Fish Camp and Restaurant off Heckscher Drive.
Why can't I just speak to an actual human being? I need a new bank.
Well, actually, at One-to-One Financial, communication is not only number one, it's one-to-one. When you call, you get to talk to a real live Jacksonville human, fast, and with someone who's truly concerned about your needs, your security, and finding solutions as a team.
Thank you. Ready to break up with your bank? Find a real long-term banking relationship at One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit one-to-onefcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Picture walking through your home and feeling the natural elegance that only hardwood can provide. I'm Shane with Renew Solutions, and for replacing or refinishing wood floors, I've got you covered. Visit renewjacksfloors.com.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Men, suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE? Frustrated taking pills that don't work? Here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough treatments with men lasting longer than ever without pain or surgery.
Call now. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results right in the office. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
Life is short, so eat better pizza at 5 Star Pizza. You want pizza that's bigger, better, and faster? Then get 5 Star Pizza. They also got wings, cheesy sticks, garlic rolls, and they'll deliver it to you right now at 5 Star Pizza.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence was asked today why the team has struggled at home this season.
I think we would have fixed it if we had a clean answer on it. I think it's, I don't want to say coincidence, but I don't think there's anything in there that we feel like, this is why we're losing at home. I think we've just for some reason we have not played. When we're playing at home, we haven't played great. We played pretty well against the Colts, and our defense got a lot of takeaways and kind of ran away with that one. But it's a fair question. It's something that we've talked about and something that we have to do better here. If we want that home field advantage, we want our fans to pack the stadium. You got to play well. We haven't given them much to come out for.
Trevor Lawrence this afternoon. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
We've got the beat all right. The Brooks beat. Here's Lauren Brooks.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show on this AC Designs Wednesday live here at Island Wings Southside. You're listening to a little Foo Fighters Learn to Fly. There is a reason for that because they are a part of the legendary lineup this year at Welcome to Rockville 2024. It happens May 9th through 12th at Daytona International Speedway. And Frank, we have 3 pairs of 4-day weekend passes.
How about that?
It's a
3 pairs,
four-day
Caroline.
event.
Come on.
That's awesome.
We have 3 pairs to give away today. Just giving away 1 pair, of course, right now. Be call number 4 at 641-1010. Call number 4, 641-1010. You win the first pair of weekend passes for the 4 days. And here are some of the bands. Just going to name a few. Like I just said, Foo Fighters, Motley Crue, Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, Stone Temple Pilots, over 150 music artists, and 5 stages during the 4-day event.
That's pretty good bands right there now. They're not my genre, but that's a bunch of headliners you just read off there. Seriously.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it's going to be a huge show. Again, that's May 9th through 12th. Welcome to Rockville 2024 at Daytona International Speedway. Hayes, your wife loves Foo Fighters, right?
She does. We're planning on seeing them up in Fenway next year in Boston.
Right.
Yeah,
right. You're not afraid to travel.
No,
not afraid
thanks
to get
to
on
her.
The road.
Yeah.
Get on the road.
She's the
she's
she
not
makes
afraid
it
to
happen.
travel. All right.
Yes, I just go along for the ride and have a great time and make sure she's having fun. So,
Foo Fighters are a great band.
That really will be. That's a great show that they're going to be part of that festival, and they're outstanding, and they've really. A lot of those bands have dealt with a lot of tragedy. I mean, Taylor Hawkins just passes away for the Foo Fighters a few years ago, and that was certainly devastating. The drummer, and you mentioned Stone Temple Pilots, and their front man Scott Weiland's been dead now for probably 15 years, and so it's cool these bands are able to overcome that and still be out there and living their dream. And and I mean, Motley Crue's still doing it, and they obviously were here at the stadium a couple years ago for that summer show. So, yeah, that'll be a lot of fun.
All right, I'm going to talk about the Knowles for a second. I made the comment yesterday: Florida State can win the national title? There's no doubt. I don't think there's much doubt in my mind that they will be in the playoff. Right? There's not much doubt because I think they're going to win out. I think they're going to beat obviously going to beat North Alabama. I think they're going to beat Florida in the Swamp. Maybe not as easy as people think, but I think they're going to win the game. And I think they'll beat, I guess it'll be Louisville in the ACC championship game. Again, not super easy, but I think they'll win those games. So question one is, are they tested enough when they play Michigan, Georgia, Ohio State, Washington, whoever? That's question one. Here's my other question. How much rebuilding will Mike Norvell have to do, or has he done, as we get into next year? I pulled up their depth chart, one of the recent depth charts. I'm going to go right through what I think is, and this was probably about 2-3 weeks ago, so it might have changed a little bit. Most of these guys are still starters. Redshirt senior, redshirt junior, redshirt junior, redshirt junior, junior, redshirt junior, redshirt junior, redshirt junior, redshirt senior, redshirt senior, redshirt junior, redshirt senior, redshirt junior, redshirt junior, redshirt senior, redshirt senior, redshirt sophomore. They'll be back. It's amazing how many redshirts are on the team. Nobody has redshirts anymore. That's one of the great things they've done. The really good players, they got a lot of good players, but Jordan Travis, Kalen DeLoach, obviously Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson. I mean, they got a lot of good players, but that's the core of the names you know, right? Jared Verse, Fabian Lovett. I mean, the names that people know immediately. Akeem Dent. Almost all Renardo Green. Almost all either seniors or fifth-year seniors. They're all 22, 23 years old. Almost across the board. Number one, how incredibly unusual is that in today's college football landscape? And give Mike Norvell all the credit in the world for getting them all to come back, which was amazing recruiting work. But the second part of that is how much rebuilding will they have to do a year from now?
A substantial amount. But I don't think they care right now. I think they
Nor
look
should
at it
they,
as,
by the way.
get 5 more wins and win the national title, and, we'll worry about who's on the team after that. So I think it's a sore subject. You're already seeing a lot of emotional posts because this is Florida State's senior day on Saturday, and it's going to take it'll be striking the amount of time between Florida State's senior day and Florida's senior day. Florida has like 4 guys. Florida State, and particularly if they were to allow, and they don't normally do this, but if you allow, the Keon Colemans, the guys that aren't seniors, but everyone thinks they're leaving, if they let them participate
which
in
they
it.
should, by the way.
Yeah,
if a guy's pretty much said, listen, I came here for 1 year, I'm going to leave,
right.
He should be allowed to be honored.
But even if they don't, even if it just is the actual seniors, it is going to be striking. One's going to take 27 minutes. The other one's going to take about a minute and 45 seconds. And so it is going to be interesting to see how good Florida State is next year. Obviously, there's going to be a drop-off. It's just a question of, is it going to be very little drop-off and they defend the ACC title and they're in the 12-team playoff comfortably? Or is it, it was tough to lose all that talent, and are they going to be young next year? And, and do they find without looking at their schedule, because of the resistance in their league, I'd say the floor for them is no worse than like 8-4. And that might be if everything went wrong. But yeah, I think how could it not be a substantial drop-off because of all the talent? Look, when we go to the Combine in Indianapolis in February, it's going to be a Florida State convention. You're going to feel like you're at an alumni event for the Noles. It is going to be unbelievable. They had 1 player at the Combine last year. They are going to have, I think, 14, 15 players. Which is, it literally would be close to record-setting, the amount of talent, if everybody leaves. Now, if they get a bunch of guys to come back that you don't expect, like they did this year with Jordan Travis and Jared Verse, then maybe not. But, I would say they're going to have somewhere between 11 and 15 players at the Combine. And that doesn't, they probably don't have many, but that doesn't count draft-eligible players that – the Combine that don't get invited to the Combine. I wouldn't think Florida State has very many of those, but they could. So, it's a staggering amount of talent. Florida State is going to have a lot of fun on draft weekend, particularly if they're the defending national champions or reigning national champions at that point, to see where all their beloved players end up going. But it is a massive amount of talent. And, I think for them they're realizing that this is coming to an end, this chapter. And obviously, I think they're, you can tell when we talk to Ballou. Ballou probably thinks North Alabama has a chance in this game.
For sure.
That's just because I get it. You're this close
Absolutely.
To something extraordinary. You're this close to this team becoming an immortal team and your storied legacy. And you're so afraid that something's going to derail it. Are they going to go into the swamp and be bothered by the crowd and lose to an inspired Florida team that's playing for its postseason, and do you lose that game? Because if you lose to Florida, you're out. There's really no way around it. It doesn't matter what you do against Louisville. It'd be very hard to see Florida State losing to Florida next week and still being one of the top 4. I think they would need a ton of help.
Yeah, absolutely. I think 2 things, Frank. One, Mike Norvell has already proven that he's one of the best guys in the portal, if not the best guys at getting talent out of the portal and knowing how to utilize them immediately. And
Right.
It's one thing to get a guy out of the portal, but it's another to actually get him to execute the system the way you want right away. And Mike Norvell has done a tremendous job of that. We've talked about that kind of talent all season. So I don't think he'll necessarily have a young team if he doesn't want a young team. I think he'll go and pluck guys out of the portal that will step in right away. The other thing about their schedule next year, here it is. So they play Georgia Tech in Dublin, Ireland. That'll
That's
be
a
fun,
win.
but that's a win. Memphis
Win.
at Notre Dame.
Okay.
Difficult.
Dicey game, but probably they'll win.
Charleston Southern.
But good game.
Yeah, good game.
But Charleston Southern,
Win.
Florida,
At home, that's a win.
that is at home. That's correct.
You would
At
think.
Duke. Boston.
Win.
Boston
Win.
College at home.
Win.
Cal at home.
Win.
Clemson at home.
Win.
North Carolina at home.
Win.
At Miami.
Probably a win.
And at SMU.
So they'll be favored in every game.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Other
I would
than at
give-
Notre Dame.
Yeah, there's a handful that aren't necessarily wins until you know more about the team. But your point's dead on. Your
But
point's
that's
right.
the thing. Like, they don't have to have a team like this year's team with that schedule next year to be contending for the playoff again.
Yeah, and again, you can't have a team like they had 4 years ago because that's 3-9 against that schedule. But the bottom is they've built a good football team. It'll be very interesting. Meanwhile, Georgia's depth chart today. Georgia's the best team in the country, right?
Yes.
Now look, some redshirt juniors and juniors are going to come out. I get that. But in their two deep depth chart, which is essentially the two deep, which is essentially 44 guys in your two deep depth chart.
Mm-hmm.
How many seniors or redshirt seniors do you think there are? I'm looking at it.
Of 44?
Of 44.
17?
Seniors or redshirt seniors. Listed
I'll
as
say 10.
4.
Wow.
Four.
That's how you build a program.
4. Dijon Edwards, the running back. Kendall Milton, his backup, are both seniors. One of the receivers, Rosemi Jackson, the senior.
Marcus Rosemi St. Jack.
Is that okay? And Warren Brinson, a backup defensive tackle, is a senior. That's it. Now, again, they got some redshirt juniors that'll come out. Carson Beck's a redshirt junior. He's probably going to come out.
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers. Yeah, they got plenty of those. But as far as true seniors, isn't that amazing?
That is.
It's because all their talent goes to the NFL as juniors.
Yeah, because the reason I looked that up, because if all Georgia's guys were going to leave, we wouldn't think there'd be a problem because we know the guys behind them are going to be really good. I think that's what Florida State's headed toward. I think Florida State, and you're right, the point you guys both made, the resistance is different too. But I do. I think.
They do have to worry about Cal.
Yeah. And the other point you made, by the way,
SMU.
and you made the first point you made, Hayes, is a good one. Who cares right now? And I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Who gives a darn about what it's going to be next year? Let's go win the national championship this year and worry about next year. But for the sake of a conversation.
Right. Well, like Georgia doesn't have to have that conversation, to your point. Georgia knows because of how they've built it. And, again, he's in year 8. Kirby Smart's in year 8.
Right.
Mike Norvell is still, what is this, year 4?
Yeah.
So, there is a difference there in terms of being able to survive, and be great year in and year out. But, yeah, Ohio State's not worried about are they going to be great next year. They know they're going to be very good. It's just a question of will they be very good? Will they win the national title?
Yep.
It's probably the same thing in Michigan. If Harbaugh stays, they know we're going to be really good because he's been here and they've got something built and it's fortified. That's the thing. Mike Norvell appears to have built this glorious mansion, but once this talent leaves, does the mansion falter at all, or does the mansion stay and even expand? And that's, again, I think it's unfair to expect that there's not going to be some drop-off because it's just hard to do that in a 4-year span.
No matter who you are.
Right.
Alabama's dropped off.
But particularly when you use it, when you've used the portal more than you've used high school recruiting.
Well, that's the point of the question. That's the whole point of the topic is, can Florida State, which has mined the portal so well and mined its own roster so well, continue to do it that way? Now, again, in fairness to Mike Norvell, he's having a very good recruiting year too, but it'll be very interesting to see moving forward what that program's like.
By the way, real quick, Georgia's 2024 schedule, these are just some of the highlights. Clemson in Atlanta, at Alabama, at Texas.
How about that? That's pretty good.
Now that the SEC is growing,
so
the schedules
Florida,
are
Florida and Georgia both go to Texas next year.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh, that. Both go to Texas. Interesting stuff. Right, we'll take a break.
I'm going to go 1-1 there for the Longhorns.
Me too.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. More in a moment. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
It's the moment when they were rolling.
Let's keep it rolling.
Tire Outlet brings you the drive of the game.
And this place is rocking right now.
Tire Outlet. Wholesale prices, premium service. On 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers. and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today.
Mr. Rooter, Mr. Rooter. This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Thanks to the coaches and the schools who believe in our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is head coach Ferland Dormany of Trinity Christian Academy High School. Our athletic program selected Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to work with our state championship football team and will continue to use them. We recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Hayes Carline for Island Wing Company, located on South Side near Tinseltown, and our new location at Bartram Park in St. Johns County. 2 great locations offering the ultimate sports bar experience where you can stick to healthy options. Island Wing Company has a wide selection of fryer-free food. The wings are baked, not fried, with so many awesome flavors to choose from. You can also get delicious salmon, tuna, flatbreads, and tacos. With tons of spectacular TVs, dog-friendly patios, and 2 daily happy hours, Island Wings can't be beat.
Famous Quick Lube helps keep your car in dependable travel condition. Stop in today, where they'll change your oil, rotate the tires, check the filters, wipers, lights, and get you right back to your holiday plans. Famous Quick Lube, 12 locations servicing every customer like they're famous.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey here. You've heard me talking about Pella Windows and Doors. With great ratings and expert reviews, you know they're high quality and energy efficient products. So what's your next step? Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. Their professional design consultants will guide you through your entire project from start to finish. And that's the quality and service you can expect from Pella Windows and Doors.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate.
Hey sports fans, it's Hayes Carline from MyBookie. Thanksgiving is almost here. It's time to feast on football and stuff your pockets with MyBookie. The best part is you don't need to be a sports guru to win. You can cash in on everything from politics to your favorite TV shows and then some. Picture this, not just watching games, but turning every second into a potential win. With MyBookie, you can stream the games and live bet them, turn any game day into a payday. Live betting can be some of the most lucrative bets you can make. If a favorite goes down early in the game, that may be the edge you need to bet a comeback. Ready to up your game? Sign up today and make your first deposit with promo code 1010XL for a sweet deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code 1010XL to claim your bonus. This is no ordinary promo code. It's your secret weapon for an extra edge. And remember, good friends don't let friends win alone, so have your buddies use your referral link to become eligible for an additional bonus on their first deposit. Bet anywhere, anytime, and on absolutely anything, only with MyBookie.
Have you been thinking about selling your home and just think it's not the right time? You just see a lot of problems out there with getting it done? Let me send you to the problem solvers. That's Chad and Sandy at chadandsandy.com. If you want maximum equity from your home, but you're not sure how, Chad and Sandy are. Chad and Sandy go this far and make you this guarantee. They will sell your home or they will buy it. Carl and Diana in Argyle in Orange Park said, our dream was selling our home so we could travel full-time in our RV. We just had to sell our home for a big price to have the cash to do it right. We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio, hired them, and sold in 10 days at the highest sales price in the neighborhood. It's time to hit the road in style. And when it comes time to sell your home, sell it in style with Chad and Sandy. Go to chadandsandy.com right now and find out more. Or, as always, you can reach them via the phone lines at 904-414-6200. They are the agents we recommend. They're chadandsandy.com.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here. Hurricane season is upon us. That's why I always recommend Patriot Roofing Services, specializing in all types of commercial, residential roofing and repairs, gutters, sun tubes, skylights, 10-year workmanship warranty, financing is available, military and senior citizen discounts, no subcontractors. Give my buddy Mark a call, 982-4052, licensed and insured, or go to Patriot Roofing Services online.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. After the firing of Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M, many names have circulated through national reports on who will be the next head coach of the Aggies. Florida State head coach Mike Norvell is a Texas native and was asked this week about his name being mentioned as a candidate for the Texas A&M job.
I can't control any of that, and obviously, we're so excited about what we're building here, where we're going, the opportunity that's ahead. I mean, this is it's a special place, and that's. I think that speaks for itself. So, I'm grateful for the opportunity, and but I can't control all those things.
It's 70 degrees at 4 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's an AC Designs Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by AC Designs, voted best AC and heating company in Jacksonville.
We do want to thank our friends from AC Designs and also the friends here at Island Wing Company on the south side. Did you know? Let me tell you what happened. We have a breaking story here, and I probably should have gotten this out when it happened. The coconut shrimp showed up.
Uh-huh.
Brooks and I dove in head first.
Normal.
Carline had coconut shrimp before we got here. Is that legal? I mean, is that can you pull out the rule sheet, the Frangie Show Island Wing rule sheet? Do we still have that rule sheet?
Yeah, I keep it on a spreadsheet on my computer.
I know you do. I mean, that can't possibly be within the rules, can it?
No, it violates page 2 of the rule book.
I thought page 864 that says that
8B.
that you cannot come and eat the coconut shrimp early.
But Dash 1, subset 4, subset 9 says that if you come here with a friend and John Spickelmeyer and he orders the coconut
before
shrimp,
you got here even.
you can
Come on,
partake,
John.
yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Here's what I need to know, though. Did you really eat so many coconut shrimp earlier that you couldn't possibly one with us?
I could have. I was being nice.
Right.
And so I had lunch here with my good buddy John Spickelmeyer, and so we had coconut shrimp, and then I had the shrimp quesadilla, which I am completely head over heels in love with.
And you're going to order that again for
And
dinner?
I may go something different because now I've had coconut shrimp and the shrimp quesadilla. So I mean, it's been fantastic.
High-end shrimp.
But so it may be salmon for dinner tonight. Get back on that.
Hayes loves Island Wing Company so much that he had lunch and dinner here today.
I may just have wings.
Right,
that's the other thing.
Right.
I mean,
they
sometimes
they do have those here.
Right. So I mean, I may just go that direction too.
I love Island Wing Company so much that I had lunch and dinner here. Okay. We had a walk-off meeting here today, so we take our Island Wing Company stops very, very seriously. But it didn't stop me from helping you with the coconut shrimp.
Because you didn't have coconut shrimp.
I did not.
Your people.
I did not.
Your walk-off people.
Exactly.
Because they knew better.
They did. And we followed page 2, 864. I mean, that's a very important rule to me.
I will accept any discipline that is bestowed upon.
You get no coconut shrimp next
yeah.
week either.
I just told you I made a prediction about the Jags. I don't think anybody. You think Alabama could? I don't think anybody gets the Dogs.
Oh, Alabama can beat Georgia.
I don't. Yeah. Well, sure, can.
Would I pick Alabama?
Yeah.
No, I'd pick Georgia.
I don't think anybody gets them. I think Georgia's going to win. I think Georgia's going to be the first team since Minnesota in 1936 to win 3 straight national championships. I mean, watching last week.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Ole Miss is 95 Nebraska, but they're pretty good. They were ranked 9th. And, I mean, Georgia just took them to the dang woodshed in that game.
Are you overlooking, though, Georgia Tech?
Yes. Yes.
No, obviously, Georgia at Tennessee this week. That's going to be
I think no chance for the Vols.
No chance
I mean,
for the Vols,
literally,
but at least it'll be interesting
I think
to
there's
see
a
how
better
it goes.
chance that Florida beats Florida State in the swamp than I think Tennessee has of beating Georgia.
I agree with that.
Top.
I don't think there's any chance of either, but I agree with that. But the problem was, I thought up until last week, that was the game. That was the danger game for Georgia.
Yeah, you wanted me to put it on the picks because you were going to pick Georgia. Tennessee.
I really thought that was the danger game. And then Missouri puts 36-7 on Rocky Top. The Dogs hang half 100 on Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, they're going to beat the hell out of Rocky Top. Yeah. They're going to walk in there with those silver pants and the white shirts and the red helmets, and they're going to be checkerboard and 100,000 Rocky Top, and they're going to walk right into good old Rocky Top and beat them. That game, you know what we're headed for? We're headed for 34-20 in that game.
I think it could be worse.
Yeah.
I would take Georgia and give the point.
What is the point?
Your spread covers it too. I think it's 11.
Yeah, I think it's
or yeah, maybe I'm thinking last week with Ole Miss, but I don't think it's incredibly high. Literally, to take Tennessee in the game, I'd have to have 17.5 points.
You know what we're cheated out of? With now that not being a close game and not being on the
spread is 10.
Not being on a picks. You know what we're cheated out of? Me singing Rocky Top.
Oh, that is a shame.
I mean, I was gonna. I think I've proven I'm not afraid to sing a whole fight song.
You have proven
Notre
that.
Dame people all over the country are still kind of
buzzing about that.
I have heard you sing today. They were playing your Christmas album on XL Prime Time.
Yeah. I'm glad they got to that too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's early.
You got complimented
but
on it.
Isn't that early for the Christmas album?
I don't know what got them into it.
Yeah,
I just had walked into the station and they were playing it, and
It does make it to the air this time of year. It does have a way of doing it.
I've also heard you singing on a commercial.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
There's that
You're
too.
singing all over the place. It's like doing a show with Frank Sinatra.
But I was going to go full Rocky Top on you, and I can't do it.
He gave us the Notre Dame fight song earlier in the season.
That was phenomenal.
Maybe it'll be
phenomenal?
Tennessee and Notre Dame in a bowl game, and you can give us both.
If you'd like, I can take out Louisville, Miami, put in Georgia,
Just to
Tennessee,
sing
and you
it?
can pick Tennessee to sing it. I'm happy to do that.
You'd allow me to do that? Seriously. Georgia he has done such a great job with that program. I mean, I've thought about it a lot today in advance of today's show that, he had Carson Beck wait 3 years to play, or 4 years to play, and he might be a first-round draft pick in the NFL, and he waited 4 years to play. Gunnar Stockton and Brock Vandegrift were 5 stars that are going to just wait.
And it'll probably be great next year.
And we'll be,
when Carson's making a lot of money to
correct,
play quarterback in the NFL.
Correct. It's just, this Dijon Edward, the running back. He's really good. He's a senior. He waited till now.
He has 2 rings.
Yeah,
why not wait?
Same
with Carson Beck.
And that, by the way, that's a big part of it. If you're going to wait your turn like everybody used to do,
may as well win.
The most amazing thing Bobby Bowden did, and now everybody was waiting back then, is and you know this, Hayes, the late 80s throughout the 90s, FSU quarterbacks didn't play till their junior year. Charlie Ward was a punter. Do you know that? He was the FSU punter, for crying out loud. He punted 2 years before they let him play quarterback. And then he played. Casey Weld and Brad Johnson waited till their junior year. Dan Cannell, Thad Busby, none of them played until they were juniors, which is pretty amazing, by the way. In this day and age, it's pretty amazing.
Well, the thing that I admire about Georgia's program is how they never sleepwalk. They don't ever sleepwalk through a game and get beat by somebody that they shouldn't. That's astonishing.
And even
they can be up for every single game because they probably
that's a great point.
They probably play 6 to 7 teams a year.
Yeah.
That if you play lousy, they can beat you.
Right.
And in Georgia, they may have a half where they don't play great,
but then they snap.
But then they hit the button.
Yes.
And hit the gas and win the game, and usually win it by double digits. It really is amazing how he's mastered not just recruiting and that component and getting more talent than anybody else in the country, but he's also mastered having his team ready to play every Saturday. That's very commendable.
Did anybody see 52? Look, most of us thought they were going to beat Ole Miss, which is why it wasn't in our picks. But did anybody see 52-17? Ole Miss came into that game ranked 9th.
And wasn't it 14-7 Ole Miss?
It wasn't.
Or 14-14. Ole Miss got their points early.
They did.
Georgia doesn't flinch.
Yeah.
They don't get nervous. They don't start thinking about, what happens if we lose this game.
Yeah.
They just elevate their play and run them out of the building.
It was 14-7 at the end of the first quarter, and then The only other touchdown Ole Miss scored was in the second
They
quarter.
put 52-17 on the
so
ninth
when they
ranked team.
scored in the second quarter, it still had to be somewhat of a game.
What was Kentucky ranked when they played?
14th.
They're 20th now.
Boy, they have really gone in the tank.
But still, when they went in there and played them, they put 51-13 on Kentucky.
Yeah.
I mean, I just, goodness gracious. I mean, they're
they broke Kentucky's spirit because Kentucky's lost, I think, pretty much every game since.
Yeah.
I mean, now they've been hard teams. I think they've lost to like Alabama, Missouri, Tennessee, but
see, when in the early part of the year, Georgia beat South Carolina, who I don't think is very good, 24-14. And they beat Auburn, who at the time wasn't very good, 27-20. And I thought, okay, they're mortal.
Yeah, they're more ordinary.
There's a crack in the armor if you look close enough.
Yeah.
Right? And then all of a sudden, I
think that Auburn game must have scared them enough to hit the gas pedal.
Something happened. Happened.
But the only game Kentucky's won was they beat Mississippi State 24-3.
Yeah, but your point's right. They haven't been the same team ever since then. I've been kind of looking for forward to that Tennessee-Georgia game the whole time.
It's a dud.
It's a dud now.
It sure is.
And it's in Rocky Top, and unless Tennessee can shock the world, but
there's no way on earth
they can win the game
that Joe Milton is beating Georgia.
No. Well, that's
there is no way on earth that happens.
Yeah, and again, here's the thing, and you said it right about Florida State, and I agree same thing about Georgia. I 100% agree on this. I don't think anybody cares about next year. Let's just go win the title this year, and in Georgia's case, the third in a row. But to your point about whether it's Gunnar Stockton or Brock Vandagriff, whoever wins the job when Carson Beck goes 23rd overall to Minnesota, whoever wins the job is going to be really good too.
Yeah.
They might win it again.
Absolutely.
When are they going to? How many? Alabama won how many? 5 in that stretch? 4? How many does Saban have? 6?
Saban has, I think, 7, but 6 at Bama.
Okay, so he's got 6. He only got there in 07. Okay, so it's not like he's only been there 13, 14 years, or maybe more, 16 years. But he's got 6 of them there. So they never quit winning them.
Yeah.
I wonder if Georgia's going to be.
Well, wouldn't you have to? I mean, again, they'll lose Bowers. They'll probably lose. You said they've got like 4 or 5 seniors.
Yeah. And they got a lot of redshirt
and
juniors.
then let's say they lose like 5 early to the pros.
Yeah.
Well, that's still, if you're just losing 10 guys.
That's a great point.
I mean,
and that's
they got 85. They got 85 on scholarship.
Right.
So you're saying 75 are back.
And they've got the number 1 recruiting class that just got stronger because they got a flip from Florida, a big-time defensive lineman. So, I mean, you're bringing in – you're only losing 10 guys. You're bringing in the nation's number 1 class that I think right now has like 28 commitments in it. So, I mean, so they're going to cut whatever fat is on Georgia's roster, and can't imagine it's much.
Yeah.
Right.
They're cutting that.
And does anybody ever leave the portal, leave Georgia and go to the portal?
Yes, there's a few.
Well, they're going to have to this year because the numbers won't be.
But I can't think of anybody prominent.
He'll have to tell – I mean, I'm sure it's him telling kids – get lost.
Yeah, but are there any prominent players right now in college football that used to be at Georgia? Players.
I want to say Adonai Mitchell, the Texas receiver.
Okay.
That's one.
Okay. Good
Didn't
call.
Bama take a Georgia
receiver?
receiver?
I think
that was
Bama did too.
That was a couple years ago. Yeah.
Someone has, or Missouri maybe has Dominic Lovett.
Okay.
Wasn't he?
Okay. So a handful.
Yeah.
You guys have better memories than I do on that. So, but there's a handful. But not very
many.
No
defensive players.
No. I mean, they did.
Brenton Cox, I think, was the last one.
Yeah.
Well,
who wouldn't have lettered at Georgia.
But that's what I'm thinking. Brenton Cox wasn't any good.
Yeah.
Jalen Kimber isn't any good. The 2 that went to Florida aren't any good.
We
there
should
are some of those.
know better.
Yeah,
we don't probably
there are
take
some
the
of
Georgia
those.
Guys.
But I mean, as far as guys that are good, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. Hey, give Kirby Smart credit to it. And I'll say this, and I'll be honest about this.
And yes, 28 commitments in the class.
Yeah. We all knew that Georgia was one of the 12 to 15 that could do it. We knew. I mean, Alabama, LSU, Florida, Ohio State, Texas, Oklahoma. We know who the 15 are. Whatever the number. USC, Florida State. We know who the 15 are. Right. Give it to whatever 15, 18. I always knew they were one of the ones that could do it, but I didn't think they would. I don't know why I didn't. I just didn't. Maybe because of all the years of them not. I didn't think. If you'd have told me LSU became this, I wouldn't have been shocked. If you'd have told me Florida State came back and did this, and still might, I wouldn't be shocked. I did not think Georgia would be this. At any point, did you? I mean, at no point did
absolutely
I think.
didn't.
I thought they'd be good, but not this.
Keep in mind, in my lifetime, I mean, I barely saw Georgia beat Florida.
Yeah, that's
I mean, from 90 to for 20 years.
Yeah, because you were just 12 or 13 when Florida started winning.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
that's right.
so to think that Georgia is now this unstoppable machine for how my life as a fan has gone.
Yeah,
it's really hard to believe.
And again, and by the way, there's every reason it should be. Coach is great, obviously, but it's great tradition. It's a great stadium. It's a great town,
and they're spending more on it than anyone else.
That's right. And
they're committed to spending the most on getting the talent to campus.
And they don't care about men's basketball that much.
Yeah,
they don't care about baseball.
And it's in a great area for football. Everybody knows how many great players there are in Florida. There's a lot of players in Georgia, man.
Right.
There's a lot of players in Alabama and Mississippi and those areas that they draw from. I mean, I think if you looked at, the numbers, Florida, California, and Texas in whatever order, 1, 2, and 3. I think Georgia's fourth. I think Georgia's fourth in terms of most great whatever the metric is. I think Georgia's right behind those. Isn't it Georgia then Ohio?
Yeah, and I think there was some perfect storm elements that really benefited Georgia in it. Like, you had everything, all the circumstances around you helped Kirby Smart build it. You had Florida with bad recruiters and Jim McElwain and Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
So of your first 7 years on campus at Georgia, you never were going up against anything that was remotely threatening from a Florida recruiting standpoint. Florida State went through the Willie Taggart, the end of the Jimbo Fisher, I don't care years, then the Willie Taggart, I'm no good at this years, to the Mike Norvell, no one knows me, and there's a pandemic going on years.
Right.
So Florida and Florida State did not offer any recruiting resistance. So it was really just Alabama, who was sensational, but they can only sign 25 to 28.
Yeah, Clemson.
Clemson. And that was really it. But the state of Florida was wide open for business, and Georgia Tech's never going to be a threat.
Right.
So you own your state, and then you can go into Florida and dominate there. I mean, the circumstances surrounding all of that, I think, and to Georgia's credit, they drove a truck through that hole.
Right.
And we'll see. I mean, Mike Norvell is recruiting at a high level. Billy Napier, he's still recruiting at a high level. Look, I mean, the guy's not going to go to a bowl game, and he has a top 10 recruiting class, even with these decommitments.
Right.
I mean, how the heck does that happen?
And what one of the great things that Alabama had when they got it going under Saban is he was never going to the NFL because he'd been there, done that. He was never going to another school because he was at Alabama. Well, that's what Georgia has. Kirby Smart's at his alma mater. He's never going anywhere else. He's not an NFL guy. That's just not who he is. His wife went there. His family's Georgia. It's everything Spurrier was, but you knew the NFL was going to call him at some point. You knew at some point the NFL was going to come get Spurrier. You just knew that day was coming. Well, Kirby's not going anywhere. How old do we say he is? 48?
47, 48, yeah.
Okay, well, good. The good thing is
you got 30 more years.
The good thing is 25 more years he ought to be out.
Yeah.
I mean, but it really is. I mean, what Georgia's doing and how they're doing it is really, really amazing stuff.
So here's the updated as far as these are the states that are the highest when it came to the 2023 rankings. The players comprised of these
Georgia's
states.
fourth, right?
Florida's 1.
Yeah.
Then you've got Texas 2, which, like you said, Georgia's 3.
Ahead of California.
Ahead of California.
See, that's even more proof. Yeah, how about that?
Ohio's not until tied for 10th.
Oh, I thought they were 5th.
They were always super high.
Louisiana, Mississippi?
And then you've got Alabama, Louisiana, North Carolina, which is a surprise to me. And then you've got Maryland, Washington, and then the tie for 10th, Pennsylvania, Missouri, Arizona, Ohio. Missouri is also a surprise, but it kind of makes sense as to why they're being.
Forever it was Florida, California, Texas in whatever order.
Yep.
And Georgia, last time I looked at it, Georgia was always 4th, and then Ohio was usually 5th.
Yeah.
One thing that Georgia does really well too, just as a government and as a system, they really pay their high school football coaches well. So they get tremendous high school football talent to coach their kids. So the Georgia recruits, or the Georgia prospects in that state, are usually going to be a little bit more developed because those coaches are making more money. We don't pay our high school football coaches. We don't pay any of our high school coaches, teachers, the whole thing. We don't pay them nearly what we should pay them in this state.
Yeah.
But high school football coaches make nothing in this state.
What?
I mean, particularly when you look at it in a per-hour basis that they put into it.
Right.
So a lot of them go to Georgia for more lucrative jobs, and you can't fault them for that. But because of that, Georgia is doing a better job developing talent in their state than this state is.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. By the way, what's the quarterback Georgia's getting now? The transfer to
Dylan Raiola.
You seen him?
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I mean,
and I look forward to seeing him in 2028.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just the thing. He looks fantastic.
Yeah, I think Stockton or Vandergrift, one of them needs to transfer.
But they never do.
maybe
That's
to
just
Florida.
it. Yeah, we'll move one of them to tight end when Bowers comes out. We'll take a break. More in a moment. 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Now, the Lamb Rant, brought to you by the best bet card rooms of Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine.
The NFL is a cutthroat, what have you done for me lately world. Sure, many coaches and players get rich beyond their wildest dreams, but few go out on their own. And that brings me to the wildly successful Patriots coach, Bill Belichick. Ponder the numbers. 6 Super Bowl rings, 9 Super Bowl appearances, 31 playoff victories, and a 331-173 record. But he's 27-35 since Tom Brady left in 2020. This year the Patriots are bad, 2-8 and sinking. What should the Patriots do? Hire a general manager, fire Belichick? Can you imagine giving the most successful coach in NFL history the pink slip? I can. It's safe to say Brady was a major reason for Belichick's success. I'd fire him now and start the Patriots rebuild immediately. There's no place for sentiment in the NFL.
Read more about it on 1010XL.com. Go to the homepage and look for Lamb at Large.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's finally here. Beaver's annual Black Friday silent sale. Every car on the lot will be discounted so low, we can't even show the prices on TV. Doors open at 6 a.m. Friday. First come, first served. And once they're gone, it's over. Plus, anyone who buys between 6 and 9 a.m. will get a big screen TV and $1,000 cash. Want more? We're giving away free oil changes between 6 and 9 a.m. The Black Friday silent sale only at Beaver Toyota and Beaver Chevrolet. You don't want to miss this.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. When deciding what lawyer to trust with your car accident or injury case, the most reliable way is reviews and results. You want to be treated well, and you want a great result. Woolsey Morecambe's reviews are through the roof, and I challenge any law firm to compare results. Clients continue switching to us from other firms because we continue delivering. Recently, a car accident client left a big firm, and Woolsey Morecambe got her 10 times what they said it was worth. If you want to be treated right and want great results, call Woolsey Morecambe, 638-4235.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core can also remodel your old pool deck and beautiful new pavers. Make your backyard wishes a reality. Visit Stone Core on Phillips Highway and let's get started at stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
The holidays are around the corner, and the last thing you want is a septic emergency. Call Duck Tech Rooter and schedule your septic tank pump out or full system inspection. 904-862-6769. That's 904-862-6769.
When you hear a great call on 1010XL, telephone communique. It's covered by the All Pro Roofing phone line.
If you'd like any further information, just call me.
Listen for great phone interviews all day on the All Pro Roofing phone line on 1010XL.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. If you're sick and tired of living with that constant pain in your knees and back, you need to call my friends at QC Kinetics at 904-274-5522. They've got locations in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, and they've got appointments available this week. Give them a call. There's just no use in going through life in pain. Hips, shoulders, elbows, they can treat all of it. If you're tired of steroid shots that don't work, if you're trying to avoid surgery, call QC Kinetics now to schedule your free consultation. Learn about these exciting new cutting-edge treatments for pain that's caused by arthritis or injury. No drugs, no pain meds, no downtime. Again, appointments are available this week. Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. Again, QC Kinetics. Give them a call, 274-5522.
Pizza at 5 Star Pizza. You want pizza that's bigger, better, and faster? Then get 5 Star Pizza. They also got wings, cheesy sticks, garlic rolls, and they'll deliver it to you right now at 5 Star Pizza.
Experience the Canal water system's difference, bringing purity and affordability right to your tap. Say goodbye to hard water woes and hello to clean, soft water for your family. Search KENAI Water Jacksonville.
RV shows are over, but General RV knows campers might still be looking for the latest and greatest RVs, the top brands, and low RV show prices. Good news, we're bringing it all back during the RV Show Encore Sales Event, November 15th through the 19th. This is the only place to find low RV show prices on an incredible selection. Only at General RV in Orange Park on Wells Road off 295.
AJ Fernandez is one of the most sought-after cigar brands in the country. This Saturday at Tobacco Cove, you can sample the passion, discipline, and great tobacco of his cigars. His cigars have been named Cigar of the Year and consistently achieve ratings of 90 and above. A variety of his blends will be available to try and enjoy this Saturday from 1 to 4 at Tobacco Cove for an event you don't want to miss. Tobacco Cove, Bay Meadows, and San Jose. It's more than a smoke shop, it's an experience.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us. But for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks. But I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners. Always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's an AC Designs Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by AC Designs, voted best AC and heating company in Jacksonville.
Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, R.J. Saunders with you. Were you shocked to hear the Deshaun Watson news?
Yeah, because, I mean, it seemed like was going to be fine, and they went back and looked at it further. And, I mean, it's pretty scary to say, look, if you get hit in this same area, it's going to collapse your shoulder.
Right.
So, I mean, it makes total sense for the Browns to say, as disappointing as it is, because I think they're a team that certainly could have gotten hot. They've got an incredible defense. Hot not really so much because of him, but because that defense was playing so well that if they just had average quarterback play, they were probably going to be right in the mix of a wild card berth. Now, will they get average quarterback play? Probably not with a rookie in DTR, and then in looking at PJ Walker as the alternative. They're in rough shape. I mean, it is ironic. They had Josh Dobbs on the roster.
So
That's
ironic.
the great irony, yeah.
Trade him to Arizona, who then traded him to Minnesota, and he's obviously playing. I mean, I think you have to think about Josh Dobbs as I don't know if he really would qualify for comeback player of the year kind of stuff, because he's never actually come, so it's hard to come back. That's
a great point.
But I mean, there should be something. I mean, it's if this continues, it's incredible.
And he, I guess, also won't be in consideration for MVP. Let's say the Vikings actually made it to the NFC Championship game. He should be, but I guess they'll say because he didn't play for the majority of the season that they won't give it to him. But, I mean, and again, that's a long ways away.
Did we move to Seattle, by the way?
I mean, my goodness.
And I mean,
the amount of rain.
Like, was I abducted?
I mean, the amount of rain. So what?
Some of us just got sod, so we don't mind.
Yes. So what do you do? I mean, what did the Browns just play P.J. Walker?
No,
well, they're
going to
play
Thompson
this
Robinson.
rookie who has struggled, but P.J. Walker has struggled too.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do? You know,
they're going to add another quarterback, but who?
And maybe, I don't know. I mean, do you see a club cut a veteran? You know,
it's not like there's anybody out there waiting to be picked
up.
Not
really.
It's
no.
not like there's
maybe Matt Ryan is training again.
Yeah, I mean,
waiting for this moment.
Yeah, I mean, is there a Matt Ryan type?
I don't think so.
Because didn't Carson Wentz get picked up just recently? Yeah.
So
and because we're past the trade deadline.
Right. I don't know what's out there. I mean,
he's with the Rams.
Somebody floated the idea that does Ryan Tannehill ask the Titans to release him, which could be because I don't think they're going to play even if Levis got hurt.
They said
they would play Malik Willis.
Yeah.
To just you might as well. You invested a pick in him too. You might as well see what you have so if something were to happen to Levis. So, in that case, do you Tannehill's been a good soldier. Do you release him knowing that he then can sign with – I mean, he'd be subject to waivers, but I think Cleveland would have a good chance at getting him. And, do you go down that path? But, again, that's, A, probably not happening, and, B, Ryan Tannehill isn't exactly a savior.
Right.
I mean, he hasn't been playing well. So Cleveland's in real trouble. Now, defensively, they're incredible. I still think it's going to be a really difficult game for the Jaguars to go up there and win because I think it's going to be hard for them to score 17 points. But Deshaun Watson looked like maybe he was figuring some things out. Now it's just I think it's going to be really hard for Cleveland's offense to generate enough to support that defense. And over the course of weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks, that defense will ultimately break down.
Did you see what Gronk said?
No.
Gronk said Mac Jones should ask for his release from the Patriots and then sign with the Browns.
With the Browns, yeah. See, I think how it works is now that we're past the deadline, I think anybody that gets cut is subject to waivers. Because
right.
I don't think –
I think he'd pass the
I think
rails.
JaMychal Hasty is a vested veteran, and he was subject to waivers
Yeah.
when he got picked up by the Patriots. So I think in the league getting around contending teams cherry picking, I think even if you're a vested veteran, I think you have to go through the waiver process first. So again, that all sounds great, but if the Patriots cut Mac Jones, would somebody pick him up before Cleveland, who would be probably in the 17, 18 range in terms of waivers? Somewhere in there would be my guess. So, he probably would. I think Tannehill definitely would. A young
I think
player.
12th for the Browns.
12th?
Yeah, isn't that surprising?
Yeah, because don't they have a winning record?
You know what? This was before the season.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what they said before the season. So that makes
but
sense.
anyway, so yeah, they're in trouble, and the Browns could still maybe get into the playoffs, maybe be the 6 or 7. But yesterday I said, I can't remember how you phrased it, but I was thumbs up on Cleveland as a contender, thumbs down today.
Did you see was it Andrew Catalon that was next to Matt Ryan?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
That was hilarious.
Did you see that?
He knows Stefanski's offense.
When he said, he said maybe the tweet says maybe the answer is right there in the broadcast, but the Catalon goes, good call. I used to run Stefanski's offense in the backyard. I thought that was fantastic. So.
Matt Ryan just doesn't look physical enough to do it.
Right.
I mean, he looks like Jaden Daniels, except he's 40.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine that body being that slender would be able to take punishment and come back 6 days later and do it all over again.
Yeah, and I also get the sense that if Matt Ryan is going to come back and play, no matter if he's going to do it, he would have done it by now. Number two, I think Cleveland might be a contender because they're 6-3 or they might
5
be
and 4.
5 and 4, but I don't sense that's where he's coming back. I sense he's the kind of guy that, I mean, if a really good team lost if Kansas City lost its quarterback, I think wouldn't it be that more?
I think so. I mean, I think for Matt Ryan, that you really want to play in a blizzard. You got all the money that you'll ever need. You're not. I mean,
it's still Cleveland.
Yeah, it's
Browns
still
are 6-3. Bengals
are
are
6-3.
at the bottom of the AFC North at 5-4, and I think before the injury, a lot of people thought all 4 teams could potentially make the playoffs. Certainly now it's a big question.
Yeah, so I don't know, but I will say
he wasn't even playing that great. That's what's so
well,
interesting.
that's the thing.
Like Kirk Cousins was a big loss.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of Deshaun Watson because we know the whole story, why he was out all the time he was. He finally came back, found a team, got all the money in the world. He's still only 27 years old.
He's an old 27.
Well, he is an old 27, isn't he? He's and emotionally, physically, and but I thought he would be good when he.
And they just had an unbelievable win.
Yeah.
I mean, you're watching this game; they're replaying it now, and they're down 14-0 at Baltimore.
17-3.
17-3, and they come back and win this game, and so you get this unbelievable road divisional win.
Right.
But
he was really good in Houston. He was a really good player. He was a really good. I mean, he was a really good player in Houston. And he must have got there when he was 12. I mean, now in retrospect,
Yeah.
But I mean, he was a really good player, and I just felt like, and the game has kind of come to his style of play. A guy that can move a little bit. It's not the biggest guy in the world, Guys that are smaller, but I mean, Baker Mayfield's smaller. He's okay. Kyler Murray's smaller. You don't have to be 6'5", 250 anymore, and yet he wasn't that good.
It's I think obviously the off the field legal trouble really weighed heavily on him, and so I think it's hard. Some people don't mind being the villain.
Yeah.
They can even kind of relish in that a little bit.
That's right.
As long as the people close to them know they're a good person. I think some people can block out. I don't really care what the public thinks. He doesn't strike me as that. He strikes me as he wants everybody to like him, and so I think what he went through was probably incredibly. And I'm not saying it shouldn't have been, but incredibly difficult for him to get past. And I think it affected him as a player. And then, he's had these injuries. So, I mean, I'm not closing the book on Deshaun Watson. I mean, maybe he'll come back next year and play at a high level for Cleveland. It feels like there's certain moves in sports that are just cursed. For whatever reason, just cursed. Mm-hmm. And this one feels like that for Cleveland. That it's always going to be something with Deshaun Watson, and are they ever going to get even a fraction of a dividend back from that massive investment?
We'll take a break. When we come back, I got a thought or two about Dan Mullen. You don't get a Dan Mullen comment every day on the program.
I'm intrigued.
I mean that's what happens late in the day on a Wednesday when it's raining outside. Brooks.
I'll be back after the break to hear this comment.
Get a Dan Mullen comment.
Hope everyone's driving safely out there.
Back after this. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
It's high school football playoff play-by-play.
It's the second round of the 2M Regional Semifinals. Bulls Reigns. Friday at 6:30 on 1010XL.
I had a question about my insurance the other day, so I called my new State Farm agent. And would you believe I talked to the same person who remembered my name? They said that was called service. And then they asked if my dog Max was over his cold. They called that service too. And then they helped me find ways to save on my home and auto coverage. I asked State Farm what they called that. They said service.
Call State Farm agent Barbara Coleman, 278-2677.
The shoulder is one of the body's largest joints, prone to a variety of injuries and conditions that cause pain. Dr. George Bari here, and at Bari Orthopedics, we know an active lifestyle can lead to serious joint pain. We can help with an accurate diagnosis and treatment for a full spectrum of shoulder injuries, from arthritis, bursitis, tendonitis, or rotator cuff and labral tearing. Bari Orthopedics can help. If you or a loved one suffers from shoulder pain, don't hesitate to call or log on to bariorthopedics.com.
Holidays are upon us, and that means family gatherings indoors. Make your indoor air cleaner and safer with Bolt City Heating and Air. Say goodbye to viruses, allergens, and dust with Black Friday prices all month on Bold City's duct cleaning and air purification services. Breathe easy and enjoy the holidays worry-free with unbelievable sale prices all month from Bold City Heating and Air, your trusted partner for a healthier home. Visit BoldCityAC.com.
Do you love sports? Do you also love wings? Enjoy the best wings in Jacksonville in Miramar, Mandarin, and Oakleaf at Players Grill. Watch your favorite teams and enjoy burgers, pizza, salads, and of course, wings. Players Grill, where the neighborhood meets.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we want it, we got to bring it.
My thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hayes Blog on 1010XL.com.
Hey, hon, our new True Flame Grill from CSS is installed and ready to go.
I still can't believe what a great deal we got from CSS. They're always so good to us.
Well, they said the new True Flame Grills redefine value from premium craftsmanship. I mean, look at this thing. Multiple heat zone separators, stainless steel to withstand the weather.
A lifetime warranty and cool lighting so we can grill at night.
Okay, let's get cooking.
True Flame Grills. See them today at CSS Fireplaces and Outdoor Living.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and you may want to sit down for this one. My first week with Awaken 180 might sound like a fairy tale, but those 12 pounds lost are the real deal, and the weight continues to fall off in week 2. The other day, a friend of mine said, hey, man, you're changing by the day. They can see the results after 1 week of Awaken 180. Look, I did the math. If I choose the weight loss injections instead, it would take 2 months to lose what I've dropped in 7 days. So how's it happening? I'm eating to lose weight. That's how Awaken 180 works. I have a personal coach and game plan, and so will you. And the pounds are looking for the exit road. And the best part is, they won't loop back. Get down to your ideal weight fast and safely, and they'll teach you how to keep it off with free lifetime support. That's right, free lifetime support. There's no supplements, suppressants, or medications. Just a safe, simple weight loss program that can work for anyone. I'm not just losing it, I'm living it. If you want in on these results, do what Mike Dempsey and I did. Call Awaken 180 at 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Big Chief Tire has been Jacksonville's trusted tire expert for over 60 years. Frank Frangie here. The holiday season is upon us, and they are here to ensure your festive journeys are smooth and worry-free. Gear up for holiday travel by scheduling service at one of their 5 locations. From tire rotations to custom wheels and more, the experts at Big Chief are here to ensure your vehicle is holiday ready. Visit the website at bigchieftire.com or call 932-0950 to schedule an appointment today.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
Be here and be loud as the Jaguars take on the Tennessee Titans Sunday, November 19th. Be at the bank for this divisional rivalry when Trevor Lawrence leads the team in an exciting matchup. Plus, join us as we celebrate Salute to Service and honor our military all game day long. Seats may be sold out, but a limited number of standing room only tickets are still available, so don't miss your chance to be there. Visit Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000 now.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson was asked this morning if he had an update on wide receiver Zay Jones.
It's still kind of ongoing, fact-finding, all that kind of information gathering, things of that nature. But quite honestly, until we hear something, it's day to day for him.
So you can still practice?
Correct. Yeah. Yep.
So he is here. He will practice limited today?
Limited. Yep. Try to get him back up to speed football-wise. He's missed a few days, a few weeks, obviously, and just see where he's at.
Zay Jones was arrested Monday night and charged with 1 count of domestic battery. Jones was released on bond on Tuesday. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's an AC Designs Wednesday on The Frangie Show. Brought to you by AC Designs, voted best AC and heating company in Jacksonville.
Welcome to Rockville. 2024 comes up May 9th through 12th at Daytona International Speedway. Hayes, tell everybody who this is.
This would be the Crew, Motley Crue. I saw the Crew live at the old Jacksonville Coliseum back in, I think, 1987.
You were a young buck.
I was 11 years old. I have no idea how my parents allowed me to go to that show, but God bless them, because it was an educational night for me. And Guns N' Roses was the opening act, and they were terrible, and no one knew who they were. And 6 months later, they were the biggest band in the world.
And I don't judge people. Hey, I know people do. But I'm still just a little shocked when you told me that you were 11 and got drunk. Most people just don't do that.
Mother insisted.
Yeah.
Getting drunk was probably the least of the things that happened that
That's
night.
probably right.
But if you want to go to Welcome to Rockville 2024, we've got another pair of 4-day weekend passes. Be caller number 2 right now. 641-1010. Caller number 2, 641-1010. They've got such an incredible lineup this year. Foo Fighters, Motley Crue, Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, Greta Van Fleet, Stone Temple Pilots, just to name a few. 150 music artists and 5 stages during the 4-day event. So it is going to be crazy. If you don't win the tickets, by the way, today, or the passes, you can go to welcometorockville.com and buy yours, because obviously it is going to be a very well-attended show.
So Peter Burns, I think it was, had Dan Mullen on and asked if he's interested in the Mississippi State job. Would you ever go back? And I think, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit here, but I think Mullen essentially said, I'll never say I would never go back, but this may not be the right time. I think that's the paraphrase of what he said.
Still cashing checks from Florida.
Well, here's my thinking on this, because you said we talked about this the other day. You know, everybody, people we know, you, me, all of us. If you had X million dollars, you'd quit working. Whatever a lot of people have that. Whatever the number is. If you had X dollars, I mean, not everybody feels that way, but there's a lot of people that say, hey, if I had, once I get the bill, I'm done. Right?
So, for me, that'd be like 2.
Okay, so
2 million.
But a lot of people.
If I had 39,000, I'd quit working.
But you know what I mean? Everyone's got their buddy that you're having lunch, you're playing golf. And,
sure.
If I get to X, I'm not working anymore. Right?
Sure, yeah.
But we always assume these coaches will never stop, no matter how many millions they get, right?
Yeah.
So Dan Mullen's
millions. I like that.
His payout was 12.
Something like that, a little under, but
I think he got $6 million up front, and then he gets $1 million a year for 6 years. I think it was $12 million.
It's nothing in comparison to Jimbo.
Yeah, but still, it's not. But it's still. I think he got $6 million, here's $6 million check. Here's your check.
Work.
Here's $6 million. Thank you for letting us down.
Yeah. And $1 million each year for the next 6 years.
It's like Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah. So I think if you're, here's my guess. Dan Mullen probably thought coaching's fine. I didn't mind it. It was a job, and everybody knew who I was, and I got a lot of free meals in the booster club, and they brought me a beer. But I really just think, and I don't know him very well, so it's not like I have any insight, just reading the tea leaves. He always really wanted to do TV. He's pretty good at it. He fit in. I think he's fine with his, what does he have? What did he make, 20, 25 million over the years?
I'd have to think it's at least that.
Yeah, just whatever. Let's say he's got.
Because if he made 12 to walk away, he certainly made.
So he's got 20.
And Mississippi State wasn't it wasn't like he wasn't making money.
And he was there 9 years. Yeah, so he's got 30 million in the bank. Whatever, 20 million. Whatever. I think he probably said, "Nah, I'm good." I mean, we can't imagine in our minds that this. What is he? 50, 52, 50. We can't imagine that a 52-year-old guy would say that. But people in the real world say it all the time. So I get thinking about that. I think Dan Mullen probably said, no. I think, why am I got $25 million in the bank.
He also has young kids.
Right, right. Well, I think that's part of it, but whether it's because of his young kids or whether he just wants to play golf, I just think we forget sometimes that maybe, Bill Cowher, Tony Dungy,
Bob Stoops,
though they could have had any job they wanted. Nah, I got a bunch of millions and I like my life.
Can
and
you imagine
we
how
lose
much,
sight of that sometimes.
Yeah. Well, imagine how much money Bob Stoops has walked away from.
Oh.
Because he retired in, 18?
Right.
19?
Something like that, yeah.
So, I mean, let's just say he took a year off.
Right.
Lincoln Riley's got it going at Oklahoma, so they're not going to – he can go wherever he wants.
Right.
They're going to just shake his hand and say, Bob, good luck to you. Let's say he goes to Texas A&M. He could have had that Jimbo contract.
Right.
I mean, he's walked away. I bet you Bob Stoops has walked away from $50 million.
No question. And see, but we almost accept it with great coaches. We almost accept it with Cowher and Stoops and Gruden for a while and Dungy. We almost accept it. But because Dan Mullen wasn't, we just assume he's Houston Nutt who's chomping at the bit to get back in and can't. We just assume, you know what I mean?
It's because almost every coach you've ever talked to, Frank, will tell you you want to coach your entire life until the day that you die.
Yeah,
because that's how most coaches are wired.
And whether they say that or not, that's what they want.
That's what's in their blood.
That's
they
correct.
would love to never actually
Yeah.
retire. I mean, Nick Saban has millions upon millions upon millions, and he wants to keep coaching.
And Lauren, that's such a good point for this reason. So many of those coaches, once they're not the man anymore, it's just different. You can say it's a self-esteem thing. It's they want to be accepted so badly into the club. When you're a college football coach, particularly, you're the king, man. You're the king of the city. You might be the king of the state. You're certainly the king of the campus. You're the king, man. You haven't. When's the last time a head football coach bought a beer anywhere, right? So, and once it's over, they crave the return to that so badly. But I think Mullen's a guy that doesn't. Now, he did want to do the TV thing, and he got in, and he's good. He's a good TV analyst. But I just think he's a guy that I'll bet he never goes back. I'll bet you right now he never goes back.
Well, the other thing, too, that's changed is the climate in college football and how you have to construct your roster. I mean, does Dan Mullen want to recruit kids to only see them perform well and enter the portal? Does he want to have to scour the portal to bring in players to his club? I mean, it's got to be never ending for these guys now. I mean, I feel bad for them. I mean, because it is your roster is in constant flux.
I know a guy that was a good player, good college player, good pro player. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but a good college player, good pro player, did a little coaching, would be a phenomenal coach, would have been a phenomenal coach, would have been just a phenomenal coach. Coached a little and got out of it. Okay, it's a friend of mine. And why don't you go coach? And he said, because I'm not going to recruit. And I said, why? He said, because I don't want to be flying to little bitty towns all over the place and sucking up to and trying to talk a 17-year-old, almost pleading with a 17-year-old to come play football at my school. He said, I'm not knocking anybody that does it. I love pro football. I love college football. I love everything about it. But it's just that would never be for me. It would never be for me to go do it. And I've never forgotten that. I've never forgotten that. And this is someone who would be a fantastic coach, you know. And so I got thinking, you know, the truth of the matter is not everybody wants. But again, the minute they fired Zach Arnett, my mind was Dan Mullen will be the coach next week. I mean, he's been there, bring him back, just like North Carolina brought back Mac Brown, and you bring back. I thought that would be North Carolina bringing back Mac Brown. Only he's young. I thought that would be announced. I thought you'd see him announce it on one of his ESPN games that was going. But now, the more I think about it, I don't ever think he's going to do it.
Right, because the only way you're going to be successful in college football is to spend all of your time recruiting and in the portal, like Hayes said, and he doesn't want to do – that's the only reason he is not coaching at Florida anymore. It's not because he was a bad in-game coach. It's because he didn't want to do that part of the job. I think he was successful at Mississippi State because he knew that was going to lead him to a bigger job, and that job, like we've talked about, he hoped was going to take him to the NFL one day.
And
so
the point,
he would never have to do that again.
I agree with that. And the point Hayes always makes about him at Mississippi State, it was a different kind of recruiting. You're getting a bunch of those JUCO guys out of Mississippi. You're getting guys that nobody else – that Dak Prescott wasn't very heavily recruited. Right. It's a whole different – you're not having to beat Alabama for a 5-star. You're beating TCU for a 3-star and then turning them into something good. Right? Isn't that – that's what Mississippi State was doing.
And I think now in this day and age, I mean, wouldn't imagine Mississippi State has a well-armed NIL outfit compared to the other schools in conference. So – It's tough. I mean, it's like you're managing the Oakland A's. I mean, and for a lot of coaches, they're probably like, I don't want to do this. I mean, if we hit on that 3-star from, Tupelo, and he ends up being really good, then he's just going to leave and go to Alabama.
Yeah.
And I'm having to
Great point.
all I can get is the scraps because
Right.
we don't,
Great point.
we don't have a lot of money, and so if I was him, I mean, unless you just. I almost wonder if you'll
That's
see.
a really good point.
Yeah, I just think the way it's set up now, I don't think it's. I think you're going to see more coaches say, "I've had enough fun. I've made my millions, and I'm getting out."
But like a guy like Rick Neuheisel. Rick Neuheisel is on CBS Sports and CBS Sportsnet and does a really good job. He really wanted back in. He just couldn't get it. He was at Washington. He was at Colorado. He really wanted one more crack because I've had this conversation with him, and he pretty much said, I sat out. You don't sit out. You don't sit out if you can, because once you sit out, you're out of the mix. The big mistake is when you're out of the mix. Ron Zook and I even had this conversation. When Zook was fired at Illinois, say what you want about being fired at Florida. When Zook was fired at Illinois, people thought, what are they doing? They'd won back-to-back bowl games for the first time in their history, still the only time in their history. He had him in the Rose Bowl in year 3. He's recruiting NFL guys. How in the world can you fire him? But I've told you that story. The president comes in, the AD comes in, they get fired, but they stayed long enough to fire him. Well, he could have had Memphis or Tulane that year. He could have had Memphis or Tulane. But Tulane pushed hard. Memphis pushed, and he said, I need a break. I was at Florida 3 years. I was at Illinois 7 years. I'm tired. I need to catch my breath and see what I want to do. I got to figure out the next step. We never got back in. We got into the NFL as an assistant, but he never got back in. And if he takes the Memphis job right then, or the Tulane job right then he's back at Ole Miss in 5 years. And Houston Nutt said that story. Houston Nutt couldn't get back in. So
what's Ron Zook doing now?
Living in Ocala.
Is he?
He's the defensive coordinator for one of the XFL, USFL teams, whatever one.
So why doesn't Billy Napier just hire Ron Zook to run his special teams?
Well,
and hire Dan Mullen as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah. But by the way, Zook. And now, here's my number one, and I don't want to misrepresent this. I haven't asked him this. It's not like he told me this, but I think Zook would take that. I think Zook, he lives in Ocala. He loves the university. He loves the Gators. He speaks to the groups down there. I think he probably takes that job. But why he wouldn't, I don't know. But I think he. And I've always forget Zook for not just Zook for a second. I've always said Billy and these young coaches should hire these veteran guys, hire older guys. I told you this.
Zook was a great NFL special teams coordinator. Yeah. He's with the Packers for 12, 13 years.
Yeah. Now he's 69. He may not take it, but I will tell you this.
All he's got to do, to your point, is say, "Stay, go."
Arms out, right?
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, but back to the point about Mullen. I think a guy like Mullen is never trying to get back in. I don't think Mullen. These other guys want back. He's one of the guys that doesn't want back in. And by the way, good for him. If you got $20 million or $25 or $30 million, whatever he's got, and like you said, he likes being with his kids. God bless him. I thought about that. Part of it's almost refreshing.
Yeah, it's interesting you feel that way about him. I wouldn't hire him if I was coaching a Division III school.
Well, and I'm not even saying he'd be my first choice.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I kind of applaud him that it's not killing him that he's not in. That's my point.
But would you hire him as offensive coordinator somewhere? Probably, because there's much less recruiting involved.
Yeah, probably.
I still got to recruit though.
I worry about his fire for it.
Yeah,
you've got to be as invested. You've got to be 100 times more invested than anyone else wearing that logo.
Yeah.
And he just checked out. And to me, it's hard to put my faith and trust in somebody that I know has already done that at a job, particularly a job like Florida. There's a lot of coaches. Look, Florida's struggling and has been struggling.
Sure.
There's a lot of coaches walking the earth that would die to have that job. And you got it and checked out on it.
Yeah.
And so for me, that'd be a disqualifier for future employment for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I get his resume is strong, and I don't know that I could be convinced enough in an interview to feel like, okay, he's genuinely in this. I'd be worried about, well, he might be in it now, but where is he going to be in November?
Yeah.
And so for me, if I was Mississippi State, I wouldn't touch him.
Yeah. And to his credit, he doesn't put on that he's got the fire for it. So it's something to be said. We'll take a break. We got to do the State Farm College Football Report coming up in about 20 minutes. When we come back, we'll talk a little Jaguars. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Put some fun in your Monday.
Something big is going down.
Get entertaining insight on Sunday's games all day Monday.
Oh, this is huge!
Dandy Foods Post-Game Monday. Makers of quality fresh sandwiches and home of the good stuff on 1010XL.
Did you know the new 2023 Honda Accord Hybrid has an onboard system that charges the battery so you never have to plug it in? When you think Honda, you think quality, value, safety. Now think hybrid. Visit your local Honda dealer and experience the car of tomorrow today.
W's and L's are what it's all about in football season, and you know you want to be a winner. Well, don't forget about calling Florida Home AC at 777-4300 before all your friends come over and that AC or heating unit conks out. You'll have that L on your forehead, and that sticks. Make sure your AC can handle the heat and invite the gang over for a win. Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, with prompt and quick service to make sure you stay cool in the heat and warm in the winter.
You know, real estate research right now says housing prices are still rising slowly and inventory is still below historical averages. That means if you think your home right now is unsellable or there's a host of problems, then you haven't met Chad and Sandy, who will make sure those problems become promises. Chad and Sandy are the only real estate experts we trust and recommend with the sale of your home. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. There are no long-term contracts. Derek and Ashley out in St. John's Harbor said we were building a new home, but we had a big problem. 2 months on the market, and we had no showings and no offers with another agent. We were super stressed. Then we heard Chad and Sandy guarantee sale on the radio and hired them. They created an amazing plan to sell quickly and maximize price. The home sold in 10 days for more money than the previous realtor had listed. That's the promise and the proof of ChadandSandy.com. Go there today, ChadandSandy.com, or call them in office, 904-414-6200.
The next time you have an orthopedic injury, call Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. That's what we do. I'm Bob Arablo, president of Your Jacksonville Icemen. We've been using them to take care of our athletes, and you can rely on them to take care of yours.
This is Dr. George Acevedo of Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Thanks to all of the athletes who ask us to help them get back on their feet.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Crosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
At Beaches Jewelry and Pawn, layaway is always an option. Times are tough for some, so anything you need or want from surfboards to tools to high-end jewelry, layaway is always an option at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
The year is almost over. Do you need cash for the holidays or want to be credit card debt-free for the new year? Call Loan Pronto today. Their Express Equity line of credit can get you $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 in as little as 5 days. Listen, if you have a ton of equity in your house, and Loan Pronto can help you turn that equity into cash, you can access up to 95% of your home's value. Use the money to pay off all your credit cards, pay off personal loans, or start that home improvement project. You can get the money you need now and still keep your primary mortgage intact, so your 3% rate, it's protected. And with Loan Pronto's Express Equity Line program, 90% of the time, there's no need for an appraisal. So you can get your money super fast. Get the holiday cash you need or pay off all those credit cards before the new year. Get yourself on solid financial footing before the year ends and call Loan Pronto now. 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal Housing Lender, NLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
Get into the game at Best Bet. Come enjoy the best in-card games, hospitality, and fun at Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park. You don't have to be a poker pro to have a great time. Featuring poker games of all limits and easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em and Pai Gow. Wager on exciting simulcast races and enjoy delicious food and drink. Our card rooms are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. and 24 hours on Saturday and Sunday. Details at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Are you 18 years or older, just got married, just got divorced, or have children? Listen up. Have you done your last will and estate planning? If you have questions, call Matt Hinson with the Hinson Law Firm. Reach him at 527-1700, offices Jacksonville, Florida. And don't let the state decide your fate. At ABBQ, they are turning up the heat this football season like no other. Picture this, 15 massive TVs strategically placed throughout the restaurant so you won't miss a single touchdown. Step into their huge outdoor area where the excitement of the game meets the fresh air. Here's the kicker, and this is a big one for me. They got the sound on blast throughout the restaurant for the whole game. Your destination for mouth-watering barbecue and an unforgettable game day. ABBQ, meet and drink with us.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Monahan Jewelers. Billy Napier and the Gators will face a top 10 team on Saturday night. The Missouri Tigers jumped 5 spots last night in the latest college football playoff rankings to number 9 in the country. Napier spoke this week on the challenge against Missouri.
Mizzou's got a good football team. They play complementary football. Eli's done a nice job there in year 4. You know, they've gotten incrementally better. They're getting good quarterback play. LSU and Georgia being their 2 losses. So, good football team, tough place to play.
Billy Napier on facing number 9 Missouri on Saturday. It's 69 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Here, that means it's time for more football.
Football!
Football at 5.
5 o'clock somewhere.
On the Frangie Show.
Jags and Titans coming up on Sunday afternoon at the ballpark. We'll do our college football report coming up from State Farm in just a bit, but let's talk some Jags-Titans. How much does the rivalry affect NFL games? It affects college games immensely.
Yes.
When you play the team that is your rival, how much does it affect a pro football game?
In the AFC South, very, very minimally. In other divisions, I think it matters. I mean, I think, Dallas, Washington, it matters. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, it matters. Denver, Kansas City, it matters. I think there are ones out there. Chicago, Minnesota, but I think the AFC South is such a dreadful division in its construction. It was sort of the leftovers. It's the hot dog of the NFL divisional system, and so I think.
Sorry, all you hot dog lovers.
And so I think in terms of I don't think the Jaguars-Titans is a really heated rivalry, not like what these kids experienced.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In college.
Well, they're still new franchises. The Jaguars are new in that they're not even 30 years old, and the Titans are certainly new to their city. So newish. So I think that's part of it too. I mean, I'm trying to think of the best NFL rivals ever. Dallas, Washington for all those years was great. That was a great rivalry. Kansas City.
Now Cowboys, Eagles, right?
Yeah. Is it a good rivalry? Is it because they're good?
But I think that's part of a rivalry. That's why Jags-Titans, I think, isn't as heated.
Yeah, maybe.
It's because the Jaguars haven't done their part.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. I agree with that. That's a very good point.
Until recently.
Kansas City, Oakland, when the Raiders were in Oakland.
Apparently, Kansas City, Denver is like white hot. I just
that's
got to
be new. That's got to be new.
No,
right?
I think that goes back.
It does. Really?
Yeah, I want to say that goes back to Tom Jackson and
I always thought Chiefs Raiders was a big one for me.
Yeah,
Chiefs Raiders was big. Dallas Washington was big.
I don't think the Patriots really had a rival. Maybe the Colts for Peyton Manning, but not
But only
because
of that. No,
and it's obviously not a division rival.
I'm trying to think of the really, really good ones to me. I guess those are the two that stood out the most. Cowboys, Steelers, because they were both in Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But those are more Super Bowl rivalries.
Ravens, Steelers in the last 20 years.
Ravens, Steelers of late. Yeah, I would agree with that. Ravens, Steelers in the last 20 years, I would agree with. But I mean, I will say this. There is something cool about Jags-Titans. Jags-Titans is better than when the Jags-Chargers. Jags-Titans when
it definitely gets us amped up. I mean, I think, for Jaguar fans.
Yeah, for Jaguar fans,
Titans
for sure.
The Titans game means something.
Because of the Jeff Fisher stuff, because of the,
when the schedule comes out, that's one you're circling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But nationally, I don't think when they're going to do their picks on the shows, they're not oh my gosh, it's Jags-Titans week, everyone. Buckle up.
For people that don't know, and I assume most do, back when the stadium was called Alltel Stadium here in Jacksonville, they asked Jeff Fisher, what's it like having two different homes? Or was it three?
Because it was Vandy. Weren't they playing at
Memphis, Vandy, and then his new state. He said, it was like having three different home stadiums. He said, well, it's four if you count Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville. That's what it was. Yeah. Oh, Jag Nation didn't like it. That was before there was Twitter. You imagine now with Jag Twitter?
It's still probably the biggest burn that we've ever taken.
It is. I asked him about it. I saw him at the studio.
Because it was true. That was the thing that was so galling.
I had Jeff Fisher on at the Super Bowl one year, and I remember asking him, apparently his daughter either had moved to Jacksonville or had a friend in Jacksonville. There was something there's some connection between his daughter and Jacksonville. And I remember him saying, I said, Jeff, we're in Jacksonville. He said, my daughter, she either lived here or traveled here or had something. She was here. Dad, they do not like you there. I said, Jeff, that would probably be true.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. He said, I guess I can kind of see it. So, but
maybe Jeff Fisher can be Napier's special teams coordinator. I'd take Jeff Fisher.
Factor in the game.
He can count to 11.
Can the Titans beat the Jags? They can beat them.
Yeah, they can beat the Jaguars. I mean,
I don't think they're going to.
I don't think they're going to, but could the Jaguars give the ball away a few times and Levis hits a couple deep to Hopkins and they make all their field goals and maybe the Jaguars have a special teams issue. You worried now you don't have Agnew. I mean, the Titans could win an ugly game, and ugly games happen often in the NFL. So, the Titans could win a 16-13 game here. I think that's about it. I think if the Jaguars score in the 20s, I think it's really going to be a tough putt for the Titans. So, I mean, the Jaguars can lose the game. They're a 6.5-point favorite, but I don't expect them to. I expect them to win. I expect them to cover.
We'll take a break. When we come back, the State Farm College Football Report is next. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
You got to feel the pain and embarrassment. That's what it is. It's terrible.
That is tipped and interception, and that's a disaster.
But you got to flush it, too.
These are great opportunities for me to coach this football team.
There's things out there on every play that we're all doing where we can do better.
I think our players will rebound. They always have.
We're going to move on, and we're going to get ready for Tennessee, and that's the biggest game of the year is our next one.
It's back at the bank for a big one against a division rival. Jaguars, Titans, Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
The deal of the year is here at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Mia here, and right now you could save thousands off original MSRP on pre-owned 2023 models, like a Toyota Corolla LE starting at just $18,881. A 2023 Toyota Camry LE or RAV4 LE as low as $23,881. You can even get a 2023 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road 4x4 as low as $38,881. Shop arlingtontoyota.com and save thousands today.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Released today, 2023 Topps Update Chrome Baseball made headlines last month with its new MLB debut patches. Update Chrome has sharp refractors and new inserts like Diamond Dominance. It's Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update your collection.
Roland Reich Plumbing. There when you need them. Big or small plumbing problem, call Roland Reich Plumbing anytime at 260-7059. 260-7059, where quality and experience count.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, my choice for home pest defense, and according to the reviews, the absolute best service, quality, and value in North Florida. You too can bid farewell to bothersome pests and invite serenity into your home. Just go to jaguars.com/sweepstakes and enter the SWAT That Kick contest for a chance to win 3 years of free pest control if the Jaguars block a field goal at home this season. Only from Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jaguars.
Are you suffering from shoulder pain? If you have clicking and popping in the shoulder joint, persistent pain that intensifies with use, an inability to lift your arm over your head, or a tingling, burning sensation in the shoulder, elbow, or wrist, waiting to see a doctor could make your injury worse. Baptist Health and Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute have innovative and effective treatment options available right now to relieve your pain and restore your mobility. Don't wait. Call 904-JOI-2000.
When you take a sip of Bold City Brewery's many flavors, you're taking a sip of this Bold City. In Duval since 2008, they've been cranking out craft beer for 15 plus years now, so head to their production house on Roselle Street in Riverside or Bold City downtown and sample a Duke's, their legendary brown ale, IPAs, Mad Manatee, and their newest creation, Bold City, plus Duval Light and Killer Whale. It's all on tap at one of the Bold City breweries, or look for them when you're shopping for craft in the cooler section. Log on and taste the craft at boldcitybrewery.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and you may want to sit down for this one. My first week with Awaken 180 might sound like a fairy tale, but those 12 pounds lost are the real deal, and the weight continues to fall off in week 2. The other day, a friend of mine said, hey, man, you're changing by the day. They can see the results after 1 week of Awaken 180. Look, I did the math. If I choose the weight loss injections instead, it would take 2 months to lose what I've dropped in 7 days. So how's it happening? I'm eating to lose weight. That's how Awaken 180 works. I have a personal coach and game plan, and so will you. And the pounds are looking for the exit road. And the best part is, they won't loop back. Get down to your ideal weight fast and safely, and they'll teach you how to keep it off with free lifetime support. That's right, free lifetime support. There's no supplements, suppressants, or medications. Just a safe, simple weight loss program that can work for anyone. I'm not just losing it, I'm living it. If you want in on these results, do what Mike Dempsey and I did. Call Awaken 180 at 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Hayes Carline for SkyLife Elite. Are you tired of canceled flights, unruly passengers, and layovers? Call my friends at SkyLife Elite. Consider using private charter flights for your next adventure. Yes, you can afford it. Make your own schedule. Fly direct. Drive your car to Craig Airport and get directly on the plane. SkyLife Elite can make that happen. Call 490-9332, go to flyskylife.com, and find them on social media. Fly SkyLife Elite, North Florida's premier private air charter.
Don't wait for tomorrow. Make the days count. Gatorade has carbs to fuel and electrolytes to help replenish, so you can count on the proven formula. Nothing beats Gatorade.
Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. For the athletes who give everything, nothing beats Gatorade. The studied, tested, and proven fuel for the world's greatest athletes. Gatorade, proudly supporting high school sports on the First Coast.
Not looking forward to cooking that big Thanksgiving meal? Bellwether in downtown Jacksonville has got you covered. Pick up your meal to go on November 21st and 22nd until 6 p.m. Bellwether offers dinner for 4, 2, or just 1. Just make your order by calling 802-7745. That's 802-7745. Orders must be made before the 18th. So take a break this Thanksgiving and have dinner from us. That's Bellwether, downtown Jacksonville.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line.
Time now for the State Farm College Football Report with Shane Matthews on the Gators, Tom Block on the Noles, and Joe Zagacki on the Canes. Presented by your local State Farm agent.
All right, let's start with Shane Matthews, the color commentator on the Gator Radio Network. His report is brought to you by State Farm agents Jason Judy, Mike Tosel, Kathy Scott, Barbara Coleman, Carla Fenzel, Marchese. Shane, I've watched a lot of football, bro. I'm an old guy. I never thought I'd see one player with 600 yards total offense in a game. That had to be brutal to call, bro.
Well, I called history, Frank. You can look at it that way. I mean, this dude, nobody in the history of the game of football has ever done what Jake James did. And, you know, if he doesn't win the Heisman Trophy, I'll be very upset. He's better than Lamar Jackson, I think. Time will tell, but I think he's that type of player. But, yeah, it was not good. I thought when we took the lead, we may have some momentum, but that lasted about 2 plays.
Shane, how can the Gators defeat Missouri? What's the path to victory in your mind?
Well, we got to stop their running back. I mean, he's a great story as well. A transfer, walk on from like Truman State or somewhere like that. They're a physical football team. Their front seven on defense is as good as Georgia's. Not as good, but outside of Georgia, probably the best we face. So it's going to be a huge challenge. I haven't even looked at the weather forecast. I feel like we match up better with Florida State more than we do Missouri, quite honestly.
Yeah, I think so, too. And Shane, I think people were thinking that Florida could beat Missouri just because Missouri is not a traditional powerhouse. But after watching what Missouri did to Tennessee, I'm with you. I do think that Florida's better chance, maybe FSU at home, not even though 100% sure about that. Do you think, looking forward or moving forward, that Billy Napier will address offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator?
I don't think he'll address the offense. Offense is not our problem. I'm a big believer. I mean, do we bog down? Does he get conservative at times? I agree, but I'm more concerned about the defense and the special teams and just basically the guys that wear all the headsets. They all have roles during the game, and you know they're not doing their job. Let me just put it that way. So I think there will be some changes. I don't know what they'll be, but I think he has to.
Shane, what is you're on the plane with these guys, and I know about that because I'm on the plane with our guys. What is the mindset? I don't sense he's lost the team. You could lose a team in a year like this, but I don't sense that he has. What's the morale like? What's the vibe around the football team when you're around those guys?
Well, first off, an NFL plane ride is totally different than a college plane ride, Frank. It's totally different.
I know it is. Yeah. I know it is.
Everybody just puts their headphones on. There's nothing ever said whether it's win or lose. But I thought we played really hard, though. I thought the morale on the sidelines, even tape reported, you could just tell there was a lot of energy Saturday night. That was a good sign. I think with the leadership of Graham Mertz, I think the offense will be fine. I'm not sure who that guy is on defense to get them going. I don't know if that will ever happen this year. But I think they'll play hard in the next 2 games.
Final thing. What with the defense? Obviously, you're right. The offense has been okay. The defense has been abysmal. Shane, is it the coordinator? Do they just not have any dudes? Are they tired? Is a lot of young guys hit the wall? Why is the defense? And look, LSU's good on offense now, in fairness, and Georgia is too. But why is the defense struggling this badly, in your opinion?
You know, I still think it goes back to the front seven. We've not been very good there, or very stout, physical the last 4 or 5 years, and you know, I know people get so upset when balls are completed on us, but it's turned into 7-on-7, Frank. And, you know, it's hard to cover when there's the quarterback has no pressure on him. We're struggling fitting, you know, the gap integrity, all that kind of stuff, whether it's young. I mean, they play 10 games. You can't, or 9 games. You can't, whatever it is, you can't use that excuse anymore. I know they're young, but these guys have been playing football. Something's got to change because, you know, you look back at all the teams before Coach Spurrier got here. Florida was not a great football team. But they always had dudes on defense. And we just hadn't had those type of guys in quite some time.
Shane Matthews checking in from the Gator Radio Network. Thank you, Shane.
Take care, guys.
Let's head to Tallahassee. Tom Block checks in from the Seminole Radio Network, brought to you by State Farm agents Craig Dewhurst, Margie Williams, Ramey Alabu, Scott Hobson, Brandon Thomas, Sarah Wakefield, and Randy Taylor. Tom, Knowles found a way to win. I thought Miami played with some guts in that game, but Florida State continues to move along. That turned out to be a pretty good ball game, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I mean, from the Florida State side, could have done without the last one that made it a pretty good ball game at the end, right? But no, I think you got to. To me, you could notice, and Joe has said this, I'm sure. I mean, Miami is definitively better at the line of scrimmage, and that showed in that game. Florida State's more experienced. They didn't. I think they missed some opportunities and left some out on the field, but every team will say that after a game. But bottom line, they got the job done, got a win, turn the page, and move on.
Tom, this has been such a special group. What's senior day going to be like Saturday?
You know, I was having that conversation with some of the FSU folks. I think it'll be interesting because, we'll see what this team ultimately does. Can they get to the playoff? Could they win a championship? All that stuff. But, I mean, if you look at a guy like Jordan Travis, regardless of what happens from this point forward, when you consider where this program was when he got to Tallahassee, which was under Willie Taggart in his second year, and where some of the seniors and the COVID seniors were, came in Mike's first year. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. That team was 3-6. And candidly, they were 3-6 because they didn't play Florida and Clemson that year. They would have been 3-8, right? So, I mean, this program has it's 180 degrees. The culture has been completely rebuilt. Norvell did it through the portal. He hit home runs, and the knock was he can't recruit at the high school level. Well, now he's got the number 3 class at the high school level, and they're in on several 5-stars that might flip before signing day. They might end up with number 2 outside shot at number 1 recruiting class in high school. I mean, it is night and day in 4 years, and you got to credit Norvell and the seniors that you asked about. I mean, I think it'll be a big honor and a big round of applause for those guys who, many of whom could have left, but they stuck it out, and they're part of the bricks now in the foundation.
Tom, are FSU fans more nervous about the end of the season with Florida or Mike Norvell potentially leaving for A&M?
No, I would say, I'm really speaking more for myself and probably FSU fans as a whole. I would say the Florida game. I say this all the time. I've been around this rivalry a long time. We just saw it last week with Miami. Doesn't matter the record. Doesn't matter the point spread. Those teams are going to play hard against each other. And Florida, I mean, if they don't win this week, they'll be playing for bowl eligibility at home. It'll be a night game. From my point of view, I would have rather that been a 12 noon game, right? But it'll be a night game in the Swamp. Fully expect Florida to come out blazing in that game. I'm not as, Mike Norvell is having success, so his name is going to be on all these lists now. I don't think there's 2 ways to look at it. One, he could look at the guy who just went there and it didn't work out. And if you're Texas A&M, do you want to go get another Florida State coach after what just happened? So I'm not really worried about that one.
Tom Block checking in from the Seminole Radio Network. Great year to be the Seminole. They'll beat North Alabama, and then we'll talk Florida FSU next week. Tom, thanks, buddy.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Let's head to Coral Gables and say hello to Joe Zagacki, the play-by-play voice of the Canes, brought to you by State Farm agent Joe McGee. Joe, I'll tell you this. I thought Miami battled. They had to do it really without a passing game last week, and I thought they hung in there against the Noles on Saturday.
Could have won that game, Frank. It was there for them to win the game. I thought they were just as physical, if not more physical, than the Noles. I told you last week, I thought the difference in the two teams was the play of the quarterback, and I still don't think it's that far off. Miami probably left at least 17 points out there on the field, twice down inside the 20-yard line, settled for field goals, and missed the field goals, so at least 17. Oh, yeah, the 2 points, they didn't count as a safety. I still don't know what a safety is in this league.
I guess not. I don't either. If that's not a safety, there's never been a safety, Joe. There hadn't been one.
And I think play, It's a gigantic play, and they didn't get it right.
Yeah, they absolutely didn't, Joe. In terms of shifting gears to Louisville, what challenges will the Cardinals present in your mind?
Well, they are a team that does not beat themselves. Jeff Brom's done a very good job. Ron English is a defensive coordinator. Defensively, they are set up to stop the run. But they make it pretty simple. We're going to stop the run. We're going to play great defense on third down. And we're going to take the ball away. 18 takeaways this season. Then offensively, it's kind of the opposite. We're going to run the football. We're going to be very efficient with our passing game, not put our quarterback in a position where he puts the ball in harm's way. Two really good running backs. Jawad Jordan, one of the leading runners or leading rusher in the ACC, averaging nearly 100 yards a game. Both running backs force you to miss a lot of tackles. So I think those are the problems they present. And then the problem that might present itself for Miami is, are they ready to play another game at a high level after losing to Florida State? We've been down this road before where they haven't been ready to play. And I think the telltale sign will be it's a 12 o'clock game. Will they be there emotionally? I think that will show up in tackling. If they tackle well, then I think they've got a chance. Also, Louisville has outscored their opponent in the first quarter 76-7. So, can Miami score in the first quarter? I think the first quarter will tell a lot about this game.
Joe, two-part quarterback question. One, have you heard any updates on Emory, and do you think he'll be the starter next year? But also, where is Tyler Van Dyke's head at this point?
Well, the second one, let me answer that one. If I knew where his head was, I'd be a millionaire. I don't know where his head is, to be quite honest with you. It's the most frustrating, disappointing part of the season has been Tyler Van Dyke. I thought Miami had that answered. I felt very confident after the Texas A&M game and after the Temple game that he was going to have a great season. It's been a bit of a mystery. Great quarterbacks are able to throw the ball on time and not hold the ball. He's not throwing the ball on time. He's not in rhythm. He's holding the ball too long, and he's turning the ball over way too often. So to answer your question, Lauren, I don't know. We'll find out against Louisville, and I would think, again, kind of the same as last week. They'll have a short hook. My answer would be the same as last week. They'll have a short hook and go to Ja'Cory Brown if he's turning the football over. Emory Williams, I thought, in his 2 games, I think he's played pretty well. He's probably in line to be the starter next year when Miami opens the season against Florida. He did suffer a really bad arm injury, a non-throwing arm injury, but Mario Cristobal said he thinks he'll be ready for spring football.
Joe, final question. It's the same question I asked Shane a couple of callers a couple things ago about the Gators. What is your guess, the vibe around the Miami team? They had some fighting in them, man. I'm telling you. I get the sense the vibe's pretty good despite the fact that the season didn't go the way they wanted to.
Well, I think it's got to be a positive. They played 5 freshmen. They started 5 freshmen in that game against Florida State. I think that says a lot, including a freshman quarterback. Nobody's really come back to Mario Cristobal and said, excuse me, but that took big you-know-what to start a freshman quarterback, true freshman quarterback, in that environment, in that rivalry, which he did, and the kid handled himself pretty well. So I think the vibe is pretty good. I think we'll know more again, Frank, on Saturday. I don't suspect, that Miami will have a gigantic crowd. 12 o'clock game, 85 degrees, one of those hot, sweltering, early Saturday games. Is their mind in it? They still can have a very successful season in terms of wins. You can still win 9 games and set yourself up and probably be on schedule for what Mario was thinking about in terms of rebuilding the program. So they're playing a lot of young guys. I think young guys usually bring a lot of energy. That's what I'm hoping on for Saturday. Meanwhile, I just want to tell you real fast, I'm sitting here looking at the Atlantic Ocean, Frank. I'm in the Bahamas, and I'm sitting on my balcony looking at the Atlantic Ocean, although I have to say it's raining like hell.
Yeah, of course you're looking at the Atlantic Ocean in the Bahamas. And by the way, I think we're having breakfast on Saturday morning. How are you getting back? When are you coming back? Have you have a plan yet? What are you doing?
I have no idea, to be quite honest with you. I had a plan. I thought it was a good plan, and now they're telling me my plan is a bad plan because you have to be at the airport. It's supposedly like 2.5 hours to get through customs in the Bahamas. And I said, well, that doesn't work for me. The game will still be in the first half, so I don't know.
All right. Well, I'll text you, and
I know that.
I hope we connect if we can. Joe, thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
All right. Joe Zagacki, the play-by-play voice of the Canes. That is the State Farm College Football Report. Lauren wraps the program after this with news and notes.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is Brett Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NFL Week 11 begins on Thursday night. A good matchup in the AFC North as the Cincinnati Bengals will head to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. The Ravens are 7-3, while the Bengals are 5-4, and both teams are coming off losses in Week 10 and both losing on last-second field goals. The Ravens are 3.5-point favorites, minus 114 against the spread. Cincinnati getting 3.5, minus 106. On the money line, the Bengals plus 168, Baltimore minus 200, and the over-under is at 46 at M&T Bank Stadium. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Winter in Jacksonville is mild, but you still want your furnace or heat pump at its best.
Imagine a cold home when your heater isn't up to the task. Don't be left in the cold.
Call Duck Air Conditioning, your go-to mechanical contractor for top-notch HVAC services across Northeast Florida.
Let us keep you warm and cozy. Contact Duck Air Conditioning at 904-862-6769.
Duck Air Conditioning, your comfort is our priority. 904-862-6769 or online at duckac.com.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. If you're sick and tired of living with that constant pain in your knees and back, you need to call my friends at QC Kinetics at 904-274-5522. They've got locations in Mandarin and Ponte Vedra, and they've got appointments available this week. Give them a call. There's just no use in going through life in pain. Hips, shoulders, elbows, they can treat all of it. If you're tired of steroid shots that don't work, if you're trying to avoid surgery, call QC Kinetics now to schedule your free consultation. Learn about these exciting new cutting-edge treatments for pain that's caused by arthritis or injury. No drugs, no pain meds, no downtime. Again, appointments are available this week. Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. Again, QC Kinetics. Give them a call, 274-5522.
It's time for the holidays, which means the Chevrolet Red Tag sales event is here. Well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 1.9% APR financing and no payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickup. Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. With nearly 200 Silverados in stock, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. Visit nimnickchevy.com or head to Park Street in Castle. Chevy. Find new roads.
Do you want to take your business to the next level? Need to understand what trends are going on in your industry? How to position your company for growth in the future? Who else should you know in your industry? Raymond James Investment Bankers make relationships into potential acquisition ideas, suppliers, distributors, partners. Let Addison Wealth Advisors guide you through the process. Visit AddisonAdvisors.com. Addison Wealth Advisors, your goals, our expertise. Raymond James and Associates Incorporated, member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
'Tis the season for holiday cheer. At last, the Chick-fil-A Peppermint Chip Milkshake is here. Truly a signal of the season, the Peppermint Chip Milkshake has returned to spread happiness and minty cheer for all to enjoy. Made with crunchy bits of peppermint bark, hand-spun ice cream, and topped with whipped cream, the Peppermint Chip Milkshake is only available at Chick-fil-A. Enjoy one while you're shopping or caroling, and don't forget you can order ahead through the Chick-fil-A app for the tastiest, mintiest milkshake of the holiday. And remember, it's only here for a limited time.
Get ready for the games with Saturday Kickoff.
It's your Saturday morning fill of college football with Matt Hayes and Shannon Snell.
The Bueller Air Conditioning Saturday Kickoff.
The big game, the big matchups.
Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue on 1010XL.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
You can't have exceptional water quality without the hefty price. With Kanaya Water Systems, a premium, high-quality water and filtration system that won't leave your wallet taking an L. Search KENAI Water, Jacksonville.
Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss, where you get free support for life, the backbone of your success with Awaken 180. Do what I did, what Matt Hayes is doing, and make this the last time weight will ever be an issue. Find your solution at awaken180weightloss.com.
Pastor Joby Martin here with the Church of 1122. We are honored once again to partner with the Boys and Girls Club of Northeast Florida for the Great Futures Weekend, which includes golf and Mackenzie's 5K run at the esteemed TPC Stadium course. Help us continue to honor Mackenzie Wilson's legacy. That's Friday and Saturday, November 17th and 18th. You can golf or you can run. It'll be a great time. Additional info at MackenzieRun.org. Proceeds go to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mokama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mokama magic is what it's all about. Mokama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mokama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
Attention golfers, Hidden Hills Golf Club has a little bit of something for everyone. So whether you want to practice, play, or just relax with friends at the Hills Grill, Hidden Hills is the place for you. If you love golf, check us out at hiddenhillsgc.com.
Life isn't the same without music, and Players Grill Miramar has Samuel Sanders performing covers and original music this Friday at 8 p.m. Jam out with this local singer-songwriter while enjoying tasty food everyone can enjoy. Players Grill Miramar, where the neighborhood meets.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you be active, reach weight loss goals, and find your inner strength while you connect with your community. Family memberships at the Y include unlimited group exercise classes, childcare while you work out, and youth sports participation. It's easy to join the Y and affordable for all. Plus, the Y is a great place to meet a new circle of friends. Visit the Y near you or online at fcymca.org.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, Assistant Team Physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars are likely looking at a significant loss on special teams. Jaguars head coach Doug Peterson with an injury update this morning on Jamal Agnew.
Yeah, Jamal's a little more significant. Going to miss this week and could potentially miss a couple of weeks here. Shoulder area obviously is the issue.
The Jaguars could soon see the return of rookie sixth-round pick Parker Washington to help the return game.
Parker's ready, so we wanted to get that 21-day window going and get him back in the mix.
Is there a chance Parker could be ready as early as Sunday?
There's a chance, yes.
Doug Peterson this morning on the potential return of rookie wide receiver Parker Washington. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
What's going on in the world? It's time for Frangie Show news and notes. Here's Lauren Brooks.
Well, if you're an STP fan, you know this song, and that also probably means you want to go to Welcome to Rockville 2024. It comes up May 9th through the 12th at Daytona International Speedway. Your final chance to win a pair of 4-day weekend general admission passes is right now. Be call number 1 at 641-1010. Call number 1, the first one to dial 641-1010 wins the pair of weekend passes. Again, that is a 4-day music festival, 150 music artists, 5 stages during the 4-day event. The legendary lineup includes Foo Fighters, Motley Crue, Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, Greta Van Fleet, and of course this band, Stone Temple Pilots. It's going to be a fantastic show, so if you don't win the tickets, make sure you go to welcometoRockville.com and buy yours today. And gentlemen, speaking of live music, we've got some here at Island Wing Southside.
Yeah, he's good. He started out with A Pirate Looks at 40 and then played Peaceful Easy Feeling. I'm thinking Brooks must have slipped him my playlist, so maybe you did that.
And then he played the band,
yeah, he
and
did.
That's a band that I love.
Singing the Weight.
So, yeah, love it so far. So if you want some live music, head on up here. Our good friends Alicia and Jay are here, so they're hanging out at the bar. All right, you just heard Doug Peterson talk about Parker Washington, Hayes. He has been placed on the reserve injured designated for return list, so that is good news now that Jamal Agnew had suffered this shoulder injury.
It is. I would expect Parker will be activated very quickly, and I think on a lot of these guys, they were just sort of waiting for the need to arise. It's not so much Parker Washington is just now getting healthy. I think he's healthy. It's just needing him to be put on the roster. Something was going to have to happen. Now it has with Agnew's injury. So I think I like Parker Washington's game, what we saw early on. So I'm comfortable with him returning punts. I'm comfortable with him returning kicks. I think he's got a good skill set for it. So he's not Jamal Agnew. I mean, obviously he hasn't had a chance to show that. But I don't think Parker Washington is just back there to field the punt. I think he can field the punt, get north-south, and make something happen against Tennessee if he's given that chance.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's a very good return guy. As a player, he's Christian Kirk light. His playing style is slot receiver, built kind of like Christian Kirk, but I think he's coming back. If he's active this week, it'll be to be the return guy.
Two quick notes from the Jaguars injury report today. Now, it is just a Wednesday practice report, but two names that you didn't expect to see on there. Right tackle Anton Harrison was limited with a back injury, and interior defensive lineman Roy Robertson-Harris was limited with an ankle injury, so we'll monitor those as the week goes on.
Yeah, and Roy Robertson-Harris, a big one now. You're playing Derrick Henry and the Titans and playing a rookie quarterback. They're going to try and run the football, so that's a very big one. I didn't know about either one of those, so hopefully they'll both be able to play.
And Anton Harrison's a big one, too, obviously, because of that Tennessee defensive front. Hayes, I saw these odds for the next coach if Bill Belichick is not the Patriots coach. Gerard Mayo, 2-1. Okay. Mike Vrabel, 3-1. Jim Harbaugh, 6-1. And then Eric Bieniemy, 9-1. Which of those do you think is the most likely?
I would say Mayo. I mean, I hate to go chalk, but I think that makes the most sense. I don't get the Vrabel being traded to the Patriots. No. First off, why would you do it if you're Tennessee?
Correct.
I mean, it doesn't take years to rebuild in the NFL. Like, if done right, like they might be down for like 2 years, maybe not even, but 2 years probably, and then you could be right back in it. And it seems like they have really found something special in Vrabel. I know they've struggled lately, but that is a personnel problem. That is not a coaching issue. So I don't know why Tennessee would be motivated to do it, but I'd love for Vrabel to be out of the division.
Heck
so I've got no problem with him going to coach the Patriots, but I would think it would be Jared Mayo.
Totally agree. I think he's going to be the next Patriots coach. I think young, tough-nosed defensive guy, that's all the rage right now, and I think he's going to get the job.
A little more, by the way, I'm distracted by music. A little more Jimmy Buffett, Pencil Thin Mustache is being played now. I found this fascinating. A state judge in Washington granted Oregon State and Washington State sole control of the Pac-12 Board of Directors yesterday. Obviously, that's just a preliminary thing, but Frank, could we really have a two-man conference?
Well, the conference is going to blow up anyway, and the other teams are going to appeal that, but who cares, I mean, the bottom line is that I agree with the judge. There's only two teams that didn't bail, so they should be in charge, right?
They meet again for the 8th time this season.
That would be funny. We talked about it, and we only have a minute here, but we talked about it in the break. Zion Pullen, the guard for Florida, point guard for Florida, hasn't been able to play because of a suspension, but he will be able to play Friday night as Florida takes on Florida State.
Yeah, I've watched Florida in all 3 games. They're okay. I don't sense that they're special yet. Riley Kugel has not played well. Their bigs are better.
And Walter Clayton didn't play well in the loss to Virginia, and you hope that Pullen will be able to help with that.
And because Pullen will be their point guard, so Clayton will be more of a combo guard. So, I think they'll be okay. I've been able to watch them. I haven't been over the moon. I think they'll be okay. I will say this. The Condon, the 6'11" freshman, he's really good.
They've got a Condo.
Yeah, they got a Condon. But, I mean, he's dropping threes.
He's fantastic.
I mean, he's a 6'11" guy making three. He looks like the kind of European player that's going to be in the NBA.
Yeah,
he's got to get bigger. But he will be – I mean, how many times do you turn on an NBA game and there's a 6'10" European guy bombing threes and getting to the rack that you never heard of? And he'll be one of those guys.
Yeah, it looks that way. I will say this is a disturbing early trend for Florida. The foul line is a real issue for them. They right now on the season are shooting 61.2% from the foul line. That ranks 304th in the country. There's 351 Division I teams this year. So that's got to get better starting Friday, or there's a good chance they'll lose to FSU if they continue to miss 12 to 15 free throws a game.
Clayton missed 5 last year.
Yeah.
He led the nation in free throw shooting, shot 95%. He's missed 5 this year, and they played 3 games. Weird.
It is astounding. All right, time now for today's takeaways.
Now, today's takeaways, brought to you by Key Buick GMC, where our family dealership has been helping families buy vehicles for over 50 years.
My takeaway is that Georgia is never going to lose again, and Kirby Smart will retire with 29 national championships.
I sincerely hope that you're wrong, but at this point in life, I'm not sure that I can argue with you based off of what we've seen. I'll say, we didn't talk about this a lot, but relax, Gator Nation. Florida's recruiting class is still going to be just fine. I know that they have lost a couple guys, but I don't think that that was all that unexpected. So, again, be patient. I know no one wants to be patient, but take a deep breath. It'll all be okay. Wait and see what the class looks like at the end, and I expect it to be pretty good.
All right.
All right, let's say hello to Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping the rubber on the road with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
Rick, it's Titans week. How good a rivalry is that, Jags-Titans? Around here, it's a pretty big deal to us. Anyone notice it around the league, you think, or no?
No, I would think league-wide it would probably go back to Pittsburgh, when those two were in the division. It's tough to really have what is considered a great NFL rivalry if neither team has really won anything. And that is the case with Tennessee and Jacksonville. So, Tennessee got close. They were a yard away from winning a Super Bowl. But, that's the one thing that the NFL has always really lacked in is great rivalries. And when I grew up in the 70s, the best rivalry was Pittsburgh and Dallas. And they played in different conferences, for crying out loud. So, no, I think it's a good regional rivalry, or at least in the AFC South, but nationally, very little appeal.
Yeah, and I think that, but I'm excited about the game, Rick. This is a bounce-back game for the Jags. I think they're going to play very well. What about you?
Yeah, there's no question. They should win this game. Tennessee's terrible. They cannot score. They're injured, and you're talking about a rookie quarterback, and somehow – they got a demon here with the schedule. This is a third consecutive road game for Tennessee with a rookie quarterback. So I'm with you. I think Jacksonville not only wins here on Sunday, I think they win rather comfortably.
Rick Ballou, checking in. What's coming up tonight, Rick?
We got all that. We got some college stuff to get into, and just looking forward to being with you over the next couple of hours. Let me tell you something. Just let me give you a little free advice.
Yeah, please.
Take your time getting out of there, brother, because I have never seen Jacksonville the way it is right now. It took me almost 2 hours to get to work.
Wow.
And I didn't think it was that bad until I was on Southside Boulevard, and I noticed that some mothers were walking by me with baby carriages. This is 3 straight days of nonstop rain, and people right now are going in neutral and stop. So take your time getting home.
Yeah, Rick, I've known you a long time. You've always enjoyed driving in Jacksonville in the rain, haven't you? I know you.
They are the safest drivers I've ever seen, but I think it's worse now because – let's face it. When you drive now, you got to have at least one hand on your cell phone. You got to know what's going on. Susie, what are you wearing tonight? It's divorcee night. What's going on? You're going to wear that? And then all of a sudden you look up and it's like you have 7 football fields between the car in front of her and then that car. But, hey, good luck getting home, people.
You want to be listening tonight. Folks, Rick Ballou is in tonight. Thank you, Rick. Oh, it'll be a treat tonight. I can tell you that, folks. That's our program. Don't go anywhere. Rick is fired up. He goes into the night tonight. We're out of here. For Hayes, Lauren, and RJ, I'm Frank Frangie. Have a great night.